Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Podquester Mini. Oh, it's going to be such a fun one, such a treat today, because we are discussing last night's special event, 500 Patreon member celebratory All-Stars Heroes versus Villains Sequester Mini. That's a mouthful. Louis, please give me a second to catch my breath.
You need to catch your breath. I posted on Twitter last night that when it started, I was having palpitations. Like I didn't expect it to affect me as much as it did. I was scared not only for you, but for myself ever playing again, because you were all going so hard. It was, I'm a nervous wreck. I'm honestly still a nervous wreck.
Well, you got to buck up, Buttercup, because Winners at War is coming, man, and it's not.
No, thank you.
It's not. It's not no soft second night slump patron mini on a Saturday with a weak, slow cast. It's going to be sharks. Yeah. They're going to be coming. Yeah. Well, we've got a fun show today. We've got some great guests. Unfortunately, Muna could not be with us today. Fuck, I can't talk. I did ask her. She is celebrating her graduation today, so big congrats to Muna on her win. Big congrats to her on her graduation. Big accomplishments. 2-in-1 weekend. Wow, what a banner week for Muna. So wherever you are, Muna, happy graduation party. But our guests today, we are going to be bringing them in now. She's been on the podcast before. We got to have her back. She's the person behind our clip today. Joining us, we have Sariel.
What's up?
Is it Yeel? I know the moderators
were having problems
with that, right?
Apparently I canceled Stephen Moses' career, people said. It's Sariel.
Of course.
Respect my name, please.
Nothing but respect. Thanks for joining us, Sarah.
I'm so happy to be here. I put it into the universe during the game, so I'm so happy I'm here.
Well, again, with the clip that we're going to show, I would be kind of a fool not to have you. So, but we'll get to that in a moment. Joining us next, we have playing from the villain side, as well as Sarah. We have Keeley.
Hello,
Keeley.
everyone.
How's it going, Keeley?
It's going great. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. It really means a lot. Next up, we have it seems like a lot of villains. Another villain. I worked with him our last game in the Fallen Bat Alliance. I worked with him this game. We're bringing in Braden. Hey, Braden.
Hi.
I know you just woke up like 20 minutes ago, right?
Like 10 minutes ago. But you're a hero, remember? So, the three of us are just balancing this out perfectly.
Well, you know what? That's not all, because also here, thankfully, to balance us out, even though she may not know why she's a hero, baby. We've got Big Brother 20 superstar, mini superstar as of last night. I mean, she did excellent, in my opinion. We have Rachel Swindler joining us. Hi, Rachel. Wow, what an entrance.
Okay, anyway, sorry.
Right. Top 5 Podquester mini entrances already. Thanks for joining us, everyone. How are you guys doing?
I just woke up too, Braden, so no worries.
Tired.
I'm
tired.
I'm still reeling a little bit. I haven't ate yet.
So mentally exhausted.
A little hungover, but good.
I agree.
Oh, it was a long night. It was a fun night.
Mm-hmm. Did we lose?
I didn't get much sleep, but
did we lose TR?
I'm back. I gotta grab
the host of the show.
TR's like, yeah, this is too much. I'm done.
I can turn my hairdryer back on.
Please.
What did? I guess to start off, I mean, the biggest question that I had for all of you is, who were you most surprised to see was in the cast when it was revealed? Because I feel like for everyone watching, as the names were unveiled, like there were some big names. I mean, Rachel, you one specifically that we didn't expect to see. Who were you each most surprised to see was actually in the cast with you?
I was most surprised to see myself in the cast, to be honest with you, because when Austin messaged me about it, I was like, wait, what? But I think it's because I have been watching a lot of the minis, to be honest with you, and maybe that's why. I mean, I don't really know, but I was like, okay, cool, because I mean, I've been a supporter of Sequester, so were y'all surprised to see me in the mini?
Yeah.
Why were you surprised? Why were you surprised though? Were you surprised because you didn't think I was a hero?
No, just because I didn't expect you to play. I was like, it's for me. It's also surreal because I've watched you on Big Brother, and
it's not surreal for me anymore.
So right? Of course.
Yeah.
I know that's lost on you, but for me, I was like, oh wow, I'm playing with Rachel Swindler. Okay, wow.
Oh, well, that's sweet.
I didn't say I was fangirling over you. I was just remarking, wow, I'm playing with Rachel Swindler. Wow.
Yeah.
I actually did expect. Oh, sorry, go Braden.
Oh no, you can go, Keeley. It's all good.
Well,
I'll
I
go
was
next.
just going off of that. I was gonna say that I wasn't surprised to see Rachel. Like, of all the people from the Big Brother, like you were my guess of who we might see. So I was excited. I was excited to see there because I thought you were like one of the people playing the hardest that game. So I was like, she'll get another chance.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah, so I was just most surprised to see Albie, honestly, because he had like a really strange ending to his last mini, and like I felt like Audrey sort of had like canceled him or blacklisted him. So to see to see Albie in there, I was like, oh wow, okay.
What was his ending? What was
there was like
ending?
the way that he like did his questions. He talked about like cheating on the Twitch stream and reading different things, and I was like, oh no, that's a really bad look for Albie. And like, you know, Albie, I know that Albie and Audrey are good friends, so I was like, I feel like even though he's such a villain, she's just gonna be like, nah, you can mod. So that was like the biggest surprise to me. Yeah, and I thought there'd be maybe more from each of your guys' minis, of the special minis, like maybe 2 RHAP or 2 influencers.
I would have loved another Big Brother alum in the game. That would have been nice.
Yeah.
So I don't know what happened there, but yeah, that would have been nice to have somebody, because I was very, very terrified when I saw everybody. I was like, I don't know anybody. So it was pretty terrifying.
The person I really expected to see, like, I guess if we were only doing like one person from like the RHAP mini, I really thought Liana was going to be there.
I liked her a lot.
Yeah, I did too, like for the heroes. And then Shannon would have been like my second guess. But I was surprised Liana wasn't there actually.
You know what's really funny too? This is not a part of the question, but Janine, who went out first, I was a really big supporter when I watched her mini. I really, really liked her. And then when she put me on the block, I was like, this bitch. Yeah.
That's
a lot of people were put off. A lot of the heroes on the hero side she put up 5 heroes, I think, or like 4 or 5 heroes. There was a lot of people.
When I going in, I was in a room full of heroes. And so I was like, heroes are going to stick together. That's who I'm going to stick with. And then all of a sudden it just went to shit because Khalid, is it Khalid or is it?
Khalid.
Yeah.
Khalid. And then he started throwing my name out, and I was like, well, damn, now I got to go after a hero. So. Anyway.
Janine going first, and we'll get to it, but that hurt, despite the fact that me and her had a very tumultuous start to our relationship in our mini. We've become close, and I was rooting for her so hard, and it went very quickly that she was out, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Well, so I kind of popped out, so I knew Louis was asking about who we were surprised about. I thought Taylor, TSL, I thought she was going to play as a villain. I thought that she was a shoo-in. Keeley, I thought that you were going to be a hero. I was surprised that you were a villain.
I heard that a couple times, yeah.
I
don't... Sorry, go ahead.
No.
Oh, are you done? I was gonna say, I was surprised by a lot of people too. Like, I was gonna say Liana, like Keeley, I also was, where like to the point where I literally like prepared a prop for Liana.
Oh my God.
And then she didn't even play, and I was like, oh fuck, gotta write Shannon's name on something now. Who else? Oh, Renee, I thought was surprising too, because she went kind of early. You know, and people who I thought were going to be, I really was convinced Tony was going to be there, especially because he was like messaging me on Facebook. I don't know. I was like, okay, Tony's played, and then he didn't. I was like, oh, I guess he just wants to be my friend.
Love Tony so much.
Yeah.
I feel like Tony, the biggest Sequester villain, perhaps, not featured. It surprised me.
Mhm.
So I know some people were saying that a lot of the players didn't stick to the theme of the night of the heroes versus villains. So out of curiosity, going into the game, did you have any kind of strategy to stick to your role or to your type? Did you have any kind of plan leading into the rooms or adjusting to the twist of nominating someone in your room? What did that first round look like for everyone?
I was 100%. I mean, I said it in my intro video. I've said it all the time. I'm a loyal bitch. So I was going to stick with the heroes until, I mean, in the BBUS versus BBCAN, BBUS, we started to dominate. And it was very apparent that we were all going to make it to the end together. And so I wanted that to happen for the heroes. But I mean, I wasn't able to really get into a room with all heroes to make that happen. But I was 100% going to go all the way with the heroes until I didn't have to.
Mm-hmm. I think the big difference between the two minis, though, is that for the BBCAN versus BBUS, like the Canada people and the US people like are friends and hang out, you know. But for the villains and heroes, it's like my allegiances like cross lines, you know, because I was friends with heroes and villains, and so I relied on those relationships probably more.
Well, you know? I had a lot of cross stuff too. Like but there was something, and I don't know if it's just me, but like I'm sure it's not just me, but like there was something in me. I was like, strategically, it felt correct to get the numbers in the beginning. That's like how I worked when I was on Big Brother as well, because that's the main thing, is to get the numbers in the beginning, and that's what I felt was what I should have done then, and then that's what I felt I should have done now. But then it started to go to shit very quickly. So,
admittedly, yeah, I didn't. I kind of, the heroes versus villains thing in my mind kind of went by the wayside. I honestly completely forgot about it until times when like Braden brought it up. I happened to be in a room with all heroes at the beginning. I don't know if that was purposeful or common for either. Okay.
Yeah,
there was 50-50.
Yeah, there was two villains rooms, 2 heroes rooms, and then one was 2 of each. And so that turned the tides in the early round. The third of 5
it was
people was
3-2.
Yeah. I talked, like I came in, like I said my plan a lot that like I was gonna be villainous and like stick with some like chaotic villains. But like part of my like villain plan was that I just wanted to go back and forth, like fuck over some villains, fuck over some heroes, because it would just be more fun. Like, I don't know. I was aware of it for sure and talked to the cameras a lot about it. But again, like it was mostly just what was good for me at the time.
Yeah, for me, like I was definitely excited about the chance to like lean into the villain role a little bit, because that's not necessarily like my personality, and I just don't think I did it very well. Like I'm not good at like obviously in this game you have to like throw names and protect yourself, but it's easier almost for me to like, I don't know, I had trouble playing defense, I think, in this game. And there were some times that I just like relied on social game, and I think I just got unlucky with like the people that I wanted to work with, like going so early, and I just had to like kind of scramble and play round to round. But in terms of the first round in the first room, like I was kind of excited because like I saw Albie, and in the hour we're sitting there, like he just has this look on his face. I'm like, because we also had like a tumultuous relationship in the first mini that I played with each other, and so I was like, okay, like I can push him, I guess. He's a big threat, so I thought that Braden and Sarah might vote with me to put him up of our room, and obviously he came for me, so I came for him, but then it didn't work out in my favor.
How do the nominations work in everyone's rooms to start out with that round? Because how the first round worked, it was kind of a rug pull, because the last several minis, it's been a standard voting round with no twist. And then, of course, in this mini, it was each room had to nominate one person to put up for elimination. I know in my room, no one wanted to be it. Everyone had a reason. Muna thought, you know, she's like loved in the community, so people might want to get her out as an early target. Bridget thought that she played too long ago and people might thought she'd be an early boot. Frankie thought he was too new to the community and he'd be an early boot. So I know that I tried to take up the hero role and nominate myself. I also thought like, because I knew a bunch of the people in the cast from the podcast, that hopefully that would allow me to strategize a little bit better in the first round and kind of pull people into my side. And it worked out. But what were the other rooms like?
My room was, I mean, I said very early on, I was the first one to speak. I said, I don't want to go up first because I think that I'll go because I'm the only BB person that's playing. And I think that I'll be targeted and, you know, whatever. And then I think no one wanted to go up personally. And it was Renee, and then everyone thought that Brendan would be an easy person to go up because nobody thought that they would vote him out. So thankfully, the moderator asked Khalid, I never pronounce his name,
Khalid,
but Khalid, and asked them first who they wanted to put up, and they voted him. So I was like, oh, by default, I'm gonna vote for him. So it worked out.
Our room, basically, it was Albie and me and Keeley and Sarah G. And I legitimately just, so I really thought I was going to work with Keeley like long game. So I was like, Keeley should go up because I really did not think she should go home. And I legitimately thought I would be like a big target. Possibly Albie would be a big target because he's an asshole. And Sarah G would be a big target because she got to like second, like literally like last weekend or something like this. She was like really high in people's minds.
Yeah.
And you know,
just she the one that like said, that. Don't be a Ike Long. Wait, don't be a Caitlin Herman.
Yeah.
Be a Ike Long.
Yeah. Like for me, and correct me if I'm wrong, Braden, because like memory's so fallible, but like I think Albie like said my name first, right? He was like, Keeley, I know you. Braden and Sarah, I don't know you, so like Keeley, I would be tempted to like vote for you.
Albie's like, I don't know Braden, and I'm like looking at him like, bitch, I've met you.
Sarah said the same thing, that they knew each other, so I don't know what he was doing, but so he threw my name out, so I took the opportunity to like throw it back at him, and I thought, I don't know, like clearly we're off to a rocky start. Maybe I can like capitalize on this by having some sort of like rivalry. Like if he's going to push my name, then he's an easy name for me to push regardless, because it doesn't matter if it gets back to him because we like already started beefing in the first room. So I like brought up stuff from our previous game to try and like push his buttons a little bit. I probably didn't play that correctly. I should have just been like, you know what, it's fine, I'll go up. But I was also excited about working with Braden and Sarah, so like my emotions took over a little bit. I was a little angry. I'm over it now.
I really thought that you guys weren't angry at all. I thought that you were like, oh yeah, Keeley's the right decision, but like, let's just make this fun.
Yeah. I was scared I was gonna go home.
Oh shit.
Were you up on the block the first round?
So that first round, it was myself, Janine, Brendan, Morgan, and Keeley up as nominations.
Oh.
Yeah. I can talk about my room.
Yeah, please.
So in my room, it was Dylan, Robert, and Janine and myself. And Dylan started giving a little spiel about why it shouldn't be him. And then Robert went next. He's like, yes, I agree. It shouldn't be Dylan. And obviously, it should not be me or Sarah. And I was like, so he threw Janine under the bus so hard, which was kind of funny because I was honestly almost going to volunteer myself because I've had such an ego. I was like, I'm not going home first round. You know, maybe I would have. But because I kind of think being nominated is a weird opportunity to like build relationships too. You know, if people are like, no, don't worry, like you're good with me. You know what I mean? So but then
that's exactly what happened with my room since no one wanted to nominate themselves. Like I did it, and then I felt pretty secure because, especially with Muna, I was like, I know that she's the fan favorite out of all of us, like for sure. Like, and I love Muna, so this is like perfect. Like, this is like the best room to start out in. Like, I feel like I've aligned with such a good person. Just because, like, you know, if there were any audience votes or anything like that, and we wound up together, like, I feel like, okay, I'll feel at least like if they don't like me, they'll love her, I'm sure. And once the people were nominated, where did your room shift in figuring out the target? For us, like initially I proposed and everyone kind of agreed that Brendan should be the target, just because his last game, he had obliterated those jury questions and really like answered them better than almost anyone in the jury. And I switching. If he were to get to the end, he would be anyone based off of jury answers alone. However, the second room I joined, it immediately switched to Janine. So I'm interested to see where Janine became the target, how it started spreading. And what else, anyone else?
Well, I can start with Janine's room if you want. But so Janine, I guess Janine and Morgan had beef. I don't know what the beef is. And so she was very much like, can we please get Morgan out? But I personally did not want to get Morgan out. And so I flipped on Janine pretty early.
Yeah, our room, like our initial name was Janine. I think whoever room 3 was, like I hopped there right after and their name was Janine. So sometimes it's just like really matter of what gets traction the longest.
Yeah. My room was, we were gonna stay true to Brendan because he was in my room. And I was gonna stay true to heroes. So it was only Morgan and Keeley in my mind. And then I had watched Morgan play and I thought she was funny and she got really drunk. So I was like, well, she's not going to be that much of a threat. So my eyes were on Keeley, but that didn't really I wasn't going to run around and say Keeley because I don't do that very early on. So but that was who I wanted to target, but I wasn't going to run around and say that. But that didn't gain traction because all I was hearing was Janine, which I wanted to work with Janine. So I didn't want that one.
Yeah, like right after we came back from Audrey putting like the flops up on the wall or whatever, like I was still a little salty and I should have just like let it go. But I was like what the hell? And then Albie was like, I don't like that you're like trusting me, because they were like, Keeley, you're not gonna go home. And I was like, I might go home, you put me up. Like I was a little too emotional. And then so I think I'm rewatching and Albie went around and was like, Keeley's mad, we should vote her out. So I think it was like a little bit at the beginning. But as I was jumping, I was just, like campaigning, like, please don't vote for me. And heard mostly Morgan and Janine.
I appreciate that you told your room right after that, well, maybe I'll choose to work with you again after this. It was not a definite. You were undecided.
I was like, that was not smart to say.
I loved it.
Well, first round ended. Janine was eliminated. Janine got to put up 6 people as flops for elimination in the second round. Those people would not have voting power. And she chose to put up Morgan, Charlie, Khaled, Rachel, Shannon, and Keeley.
I think the one thing there, too, which is important, was also the new development with the LOS, and that as she went out, she was able to give her LOS to someone.
Right. Yeah. So Janine was able to put those up and issue an advantage to someone privately, which I think I found out she ended up willing to Muna. Yeah. Which then later screwed me out of the game. So thank you, Janine. Much love.
Without that twist, Muna doesn't win because she didn't have one of her own. So it changed the entire game.
Now, in that round, how quickly did it shift to Khaled? I'm trying to remember who in my round we initially went after.
He was going after me. And then everybody started telling me he was going after me. And so then I started pushing him. And then I don't know what happened with that, to be honest with you. I just know that he was saying my name, which pissed me off because I'm like, dude, heroes, like you got to stick to our side. And second off, you don't go after big targets right in the beginning, in my opinion, because it's only going to screw you in the end.
No, I literally told him that. I was like, you don't push Rachel Swindler second round. Like, pick another game.
I'm like, did nobody watch? And it was funny because he commented on my status and said, did nobody watch BB19? Like, did we not watch BB19? Because Paul comes in, or anytime you watch a Big Brother season and an alumni comes in, they're gifted powers. They're this. I had an LOS at that point. So I got the first LOS. So I was like, come on now. I was like, you know how the game works. Don't do that shit.
I was so slow with the LOSs this game. I didn't get any, unfortunately. And I got 2 my last game. Such a bummer. Khaled was the vote. I know that Khaled was very frantic that round. He was almost like a chicken with its head cut off, just like not knowing what to do, running around, like, what am I doing? What am I doing? Like it was wild. And I felt bad because he, I found out later on, felt an allegiance to me because we had played in a mini before. I was not aware of this allegiance. He and I had not really talked prior since our last mini. And so he was like, yeah, I would work with TR. Meanwhile, I had already kind of aligned myself with literally every other flop that was up. And I wasn't going to vote them. And so he was like coming to me and begging me to vote for him. And it was, that was a tough round where I had to like, lie to him and tell him I wasn't. And then eventually he got cut. What were your experiences with him like?
Yeah, that was perfect. Like, so that round, like after the round one, my assumption was hero has an LOS, like, no matter what. So all I wanted was for two heroes to be against each other so that, maybe an LOS gets flushed or, maybe a hero, like, because if it was hero versus villain, even I could see one of the heroes who had the LOS even playing it on a hero if they were one of two names. So it was just fucking hilarious. And Khalid, like, all it takes is one person to start being frantic and you tell them who's after them. And that fear just was like everywhere. He was in like every room at once, it felt like.
Yeah.
I never saw him.
You didn't? Oh my God. It'd be like you would
I
like follow each other around and you'd be like, Rachel's coming after me. Can you vote Rachel? And you're like, yeah, we'll see. And then you come in and people are being legit with you.
This was a good villain round for you, Sarah. I saw a lot of people quoting you on this. Where you had a moment with Khaled where he was like, please don't vote for me. And you were like, oh yeah, no, definitely. And he leaves you and immediately like, I'm definitely voting for him.
I feel like Rachel,
I think I was in that room.
Oh, Keeley was? Okay.
I think I was with you when that happened. But I was rewatching and there was another room. I don't know if Khaled was with you, Sarah, or who was he with, but someone was like, dude, you need to put a name. And he was like, Keeley. And then 5 seconds later, I walk in the room and I'm like, what's up, guys? But I was like, for me personally, once Janine put me up and I almost made it through, right? Because she put up 5 people and then the mod was like, one more. And she put me up. I was like immediately nervous. I was like, this game is not going to go how my other games went. And so I was pretty nervous, and luckily I didn't go this round, so that was good.
Well, Khaled did. Khaled was eliminated, unfortunately. Khaled, I'm glad we made up. I said this yesterday. It's one of my favorite parts of the Sequester community is when people you betray, people who are bitter against you, can come together and talk strategy. So moving into round 3, that brought us into the room roulette round. Wherein Braden and Muna were both nominated as penalty flops for talking during the break. Unfortunately, we don't have Muna here to comment on Braden. Can you give your side for what happened for you?
Yeah, I mean, I started in a room of 5, and everyone kind of did this silent, like, we're going to stay in this room. And I was just like, I heard that Renee and Bridget were, like, trying to get in our room from the moderator. So I was like, I'm going to snake out of here, go to a room, and I'm assuming Renee and Bridget will have to be there. And I think sitting next to them, they'll definitely go home. But sitting in these rooms, I don't know. Anyway, so I just jumped rooms like right close to the end of the round. But when you jump into a new room, I think your mic gets unmuted. Anyway, so I jumped in this other room and I started talking to myself like, oh, this is great or something, blah, blah, blah. And penalty vote. So I'm pretty sure that's what happened. I don't know if people who watched saw it different because like when you're in the game, like I just really didn't even realize it happened. But I wasn't gonna argue it. The thing about like that round is even if I'm unsafe, I'll be sitting next to people who are safe, and they'll probably try to work with me. The room that's all unsafe, they will turn on each other typically. I felt like so I wasn't like too worried about it. Anyways, I wasn't. I'd rather Audrey be hard on the rules and call out stuff like that. So I was just like, whatever, let's go.
Yeah, and your and Muna's name never even came up during the round, like not once. Yeah. But yeah, I am curious though about the enforcement of the rules and like how hard it is going to go, because it seems like the chat now has, officiated themselves as trying to call out every single infraction that they can possibly find. And I think that kind of brings us down a dangerous path if we're just trying to call everyone out for everything, in that it's going to destroy the game, right? It's one thing knowingly trying to break the rules. It's another that your mic gets unmuted and you say 2 words. Like, in my opinion, you don't need to be penalized for that. So I think it needs to be, I don't know, maybe more clear, or people need to just chill out on trying to call their favorites or non-favorites out on it.
Wait, and you guys were in a room by yourself?
That doesn't make sense to me.
Oh, yeah. That's not even cheating, really, to me. I don't know.
I kind of agree that the chat can sometimes be sticklers on some arbitrary things, but boy, do we love them. But it worked out for you guys. You really were in a good position in that round. I mean, when that round was up, so the room roulette, we had room 1 safe, Dylan and Bridget, and we had the pen vote. Unfortunately, you didn't get to enjoy that safety. Room 2 was safe, Keeley, Charlie, Shannon, Morgan, Frankie. Room 3 safe, Brendan, Robert, Sarah, Y, Renee, and Muna with a penalty vote. And unfortunately, that left mine and Rachel's room up as flops, which consisted of Jordan, you, Rachel, myself, Sarah G, and Albie. What were your thoughts going into that, Rachel? Before we unmuted, what was going to be your strategy heading into that round?
I had no strategy heading into that round. I was just going to wait for somebody else to talk first, and then I was going to piggyback on top of that, to be honest with you.
And Albie definitely talked first for us.
Yes, and Albie talked first, and I said, wow, okay, just going to go with this one, because he was very adamant about Jordan. And then Jordan popped out first, and I said, that wasn't smart. So now I'm going to go after you.
Yeah, well, Albie, from my perspective, Albie gave me the floodgates to go off on Jordan, which I just want to address. I had some comments in response to how I played in the Final Four last time and how I played in this round. I don't have anger issues. I don't care. This is just a game. It's a strategy sometimes to be big and yell. I could not care less. At the end of that round, I was laughing and dancing around. I was not upset in the slightest. I did not need to avenge Mallory. It was a strategy. But it was a strategy from a point of logic, because last mini, when Jordan played with Mallory, they were kind of shady with each other. Mallory ended up being the vote in a and had minutes to delay afterwards. Jordan didn't get the chance to tell Mallory he didn't vote for her, and he was sure that she would come after him for that. So he turned and easily flipped with a bunch of people to turn on her because he was so paranoid she would come after him in later rounds. And so I led with that because in the first round, he mentioned to me, hey, sorry that I got your wife out last game. And so I immediately was like, all right, he's that I feel he's thinking about it too much. So I'm going to and then when we ended up in the same room and we were going against each other, I didn't want to go against Rachel because it was the same thing we said. Like, I don't want to go against that big of a person early on. I had already aligned with Albie and Sarah G. So it was just going to be Jordan. And that was my excuse. And I ran with it. And I led. And no offense to, I'm sorry if Jordan was upset by that. It was all strategy, nothing personal. Mallory and I were laughing about it afterwards because she was cringing so hard because she was like, I have talked to Jordan a couple times. I've been nice to him. Why? It was all strategy.
My personal.
Where do you go?
I was gonna say my personal favorite moment of that interaction was not just you screaming at Jordan. It was the fact that Shannon was in the room. And I don't think she knew what she had walked into in terms of this game. And she was just looking the entire time horrified, like, oh my God, is this going to happen to me at some point? Who am I playing with? It was
great. But for you guys, was it Jordan right away, or were you leaning somewhere else and then you were led to Jordan? How did we end up getting Jordan out?
Yeah, I really like this round because this was actually the round that I think me and Muna bonded, and actually we're pretty much loyal to each other the rest of the game until I left. But of the people who were up, I had zero connection to Jordan, like zero. Everyone else, I had at least like, I don't know, maybe they like to comment on Facebook, and that's enough for me to like you. So, but like Jordan, I had no connection, and so immediately I was like, it's clearly Jordan. Jordan's going. Like he was in a room, a campaign. I'm like, doesn't matter, it's you.
Yeah, I watched Jordan's mini too. I remember him being very chaotic and very aggressive, and I don't know, a little all over the place. So I was very much on board with that, because chaotic players, in my opinion, they're great for TV and they're great for the fans.
To play with. Yeah.
But not to play with. So
no.
I was okay with it. Anyway, if it wasn't my name, I was fine with it. So.
Yeah,
are you attacking me, Rachel? How dare you?
For me, I think, I don't quite remember, but I think the like whatever room I happened to start in that round originally was like maybe Albie or somebody. And what flipped me, and I think the rest of the room I was in, to Jordan, was TR, you came in and you gave this like incredibly passionate, like well thought out plea. And I told you this, I wrote it down. I was like, that's the best campaigning I've ever seen. And I think what's like so effective about how you did that is like, obviously it was all strategy. Like there was no like malicious intent. Like you're just having fun throwing somebody else under the bus. But like the passion that you brought, and even if it was just like all in good fun, is so effective in this game, because ideally you can like appeal to people's logic. But when the rounds are so short and you have a million people to talk to and a million things going through your head, like thinking through the logic of each vote is sometimes like it takes too long, right? So if you have someone that's like so emotional, like in a good way, like passionate, and it like makes you feel some type of way, like, whoa, like he's going after Jordan, like I'm gonna go with that because like look at how passionate he is, he's gonna swing other people. So I thought that was just like incredibly effective. So I wanted to give you mad props for that.
Well, sorry, Rachel. Yeah, please go ahead.
No, I just agree, because you did the same thing in my room. You said, I watched your mini, you were this and that. And when you started saying that, and I know that you're a logical player from what I saw on Twitter and, you know, just your posts and everything, I knew that you were a great player. So I was just like, I'm gonna go down this path, because he knows what he's talking about. So.
Well, I appreciate that. My thought process going into this, I saw a bunch of comments from people saying like TR playing way too aggressive, TR picking too many fights going on. The problem is that it's like I'm damned if I do and I'm damned if I don't. I can't win, because the last time I played a very logical, under the radar game that got me to the end, and I kicked it into gear at Final Four where I started being big. The problem was when I went back, a lot of people in the chat watching didn't think I was playing the game up until that point, because I was playing under the radar. So then it's like, well, then people at Final Four, then I'm hearing people say, whoa, I loved how explosive you were in Final Four. And I'm going off of Andy Vogel's comments from the podcast yesterday, where he advised people to play more aggressively because you'll have more fun. And I was thinking, this is an all-stars game. Like, why wouldn't I play big? And my whole strategy was I was going to play big in the beginning so I could hopefully like solidify myself as someone who was playing to both the players and the audience, and then lay back and play the way I did last game through the midway point until I could kick it up again at the end. Because in the end, near the last time, there was a round where it was like vote who you hadn't voted before. And because I had been under the radar, that was like a round that almost got me out. So like, that was also part of my strategy in nominating myself in the first round, was like, okay, if I nominate myself, I don't think I'll go home, but maybe I'll get a couple of votes from people and then they won't be able to vote me later on. So there was reason behind what I was doing. You can't see that when you're in the chat watching it sometimes. There's lots of things that I know that Braden had said that like he tries to keep to the vest and not necessarily always reveal to the audience so he can play his own game. I don't know if you guys had other moments like that as well, where you don't necessarily want to always fully disclose what your plan is, but sometimes that's just the way to do it.
Yeah, I mean, and like that round, TR, like we had chatted about working together. So I'd 100%, when there was a name that wasn't yours, I was going to vote it. So like, I think you had a lot of people that just kind of knew you, that were just going to keep you around as long as possible, to jury at least, thinking that you would give them a jury vote. And that round is actually one of the rounds where I talked to the camera about, I want to keep the icons and all this and that. And that was just basically a strategy to hopefully have the viewers not cancel me early game. But also, like, it is fun to work with those people too. Like, it was like a bit of both, but I just know the way that this game has Twitter polls and stuff. And I was like, if I tell the viewers that I love Muna and Rachel and stuff, then they might not cancel. They might not cancel me too early. Like, I mean,
some people on Twitter don't like me, so.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, like, well, everyone on Twitter doesn't like me.
Braden, I was curious about that. Was that your intention going in? Because I know you said it a lot that your full intention was just to get the big personalities, the interesting people to the end. Let's say a situation arose where you could have removed Muna in an early round. Would you have foregone that, kept her in at the sake of your game, knowing she's a big threat, just because you think that's what the viewers would want to see?
There weren't really many opportunities. Like there was times that she was not safe, but like, when you can get traction on certain names or not. So yeah, I mean, yes, like Morgan dragging her to me would have been like, that was like, oh, this is the perfect situation because I did not, then it's not on you for getting that person out. It's on a single person. But yeah, I mean, that was like a viable strategy to me, that like you get a lot of those big players to jury, and then it's like as long as they don't hold the majority, it's very logical to tell the other players like, Rachel Swindler's going to win. We have to vote her out at 8, and Muna's going to win. Let's vote her out at 5. Yeah. And it worked. Like the jury, I thought like a lot of the jury was like really great, iconic, fun players. What's going on here?
After Jordan was eliminated, we went into round 4. We had the vote split, the first part of the vote split round where you can either vote now or vote later. And it seems that, I don't know if this is a permanent shift or just how like we're alternating between styles of this twist, but this mini and the last mini, the votes were not revealed. Typically, I know I said this in the game to like you, Rachel, and a few other people. Typically on this twist, if you vote the first round, your votes are revealed into the second round, and that actually is the trend of who goes home, is someone who doesn't have a vote in the second round. But with the twist is you can save your vote now, you can save your vote later, but you can't vote in both rounds. And so you have to play up the strategy of who are you aligning with, who are you voting on, and when are you voting. So did you have any strategy going into this round, all of you guys? Like Rachel, please, yes.
I did. Well, okay, so I was in a room with, I think it was Muna and Albie and then somebody else. I can't remember who, but I'm sorry, Braden, but we were putting the votes on you to get you out. And it was going, actually, I thought it was actually going to be pulled off. And then Sarah G, I got into a room with Sarah G and maybe Keeley or Sarah Y. I can't remember exactly who. No, it was Bridget. It was Bridget. And I got into the room with them. So we had secured the 4 votes. And then I got into a room with them and they were like, Braden did this in his last game. He's going to put a vote on himself. So we thought that we were going to get, God, I don't know. The way that we figured it out was that we were going to get him out. And it didn't work out that way because Bridget went.
Wait a sec. Are we talking about the vote now or the vote later, or the evens odds around?
That's actually 2 rounds later, Rachel. So this round.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. So this round, I should have prefaced.
Okay, I wasn't against you in this round. Sorry.
So for this round,
like that early?
She was against you later on. Don't even worry about it. We'll get to that.
It was later on, Braden. Sorry.
So with this round, there ended up being 8 voters. And there was a tie between Renee and Charlie was eliminated. And so I know that from my perspective, I actually was bummed because I wanted to work with Charlie. I liked watching Charlie in his previous games. He was a fun, chaotic player that I had talked to outside of the game briefly. So I thought, like, if I could have him in my corner, like, I wouldn't mind a chaotic player as much because he could do all of, like, the dirty moves in the mid game for me. And what ended up happening was my room, we agreed to vote on Renee. I suggested a plan where myself, Sarah G, I think you, Keeley,
I was me, yeah,
and Brendan would all vote in a group between the 2 rounds. And so I suggested that 2 of us could vote this round and 2 of us could vote the next round. So that way we both kind of have the same amount of voting power on the same kind of target. And I volunteered myself to vote this round and sacrifice my vote. And Sarah G agreed to vote with me, and we agreed to vote Renee now. And I think we maybe said Robert next. But
Robert.
The thing is, I never intended to vote this first round because the votes weren't going to be revealed. So I knew that I wanted to make that deal with the 3 of them. So again, I could look like a hero. I think a lot of times I try to use my hero guys to play a little villainous, but I wanted to pretend like I was sacrificing my vote this round to get loyalty from Brendan and you, Keeley, and Sarah G, while still saving my voting power until the next round. Did I convince you? Were you?
You did not convince me that you were gonna vote, but you did convince me that we wanted to do that for.
Okay.
Like, and Brendan did that too. Like, he was like, "I'm writing this down. I'm good to go." And I was down. Like, Brendan, Sarah, you, and me. Like, I wrote that down as a 4 too. So yeah, this is the round I won an LOS, which was important for the next round. And I was going around and people were telling me that they were hearing my name, and I wasn't going to vote this round. However, I had won an LOS, so I knew that I could protect myself the following round. And I thought, if it's between me and Renee, I need to vote to make sure that there's another vote on Renee. And so I don't know. I never heard Charlie. I don't know who voted Charlie. So clearly I didn't need to, because you did. Okay.
So from
I'd love to know more about
room, we were going to go Renee, right? And then the second room I popped into immediately, who's in it, is Renee. It was Renee. It was you, Rachel, and I can't think of who the other people were. Maybe Shannon. Maybe that was it. But I wasn't going to mention Renee to Renee.
Yeah, I started in a room with Renee, and I just, again, that goes back to that loyalty thing, heroes and same room. So I was not going to push for her. So when I went into rooms, I was pushing for Charlie in any way that I could.
Well, so when I went in there, I wasn't going to mention Renee. So I was like, do any of you guys have a target? And then Renee kind of like tentatively offered up Charlie. And in my head,
that's what happened.
Because I had aligned with him earlier, I was like, perfect. This is ammunition to get her out. I'll find Charlie and I'll say, hey, Renee's pushing your name. You need to go and like push her name. But what ended up happening was I thought I was so certain Renee was going to leave. It seemed like she was like about to do a room change. So I was going to hang around and wait until she left to tell you two who were left in the room, like, hey, just so you know, a lot of people are, so far saying Renee. She didn't leave. Then Braden came in, who I had also been aligned with up until this point. He and I were kind of working together, and he heard the Charlie plan and then got room limited out and started spreading Charlie. And then from there, like, it just, I never got around to seeing Charlie or finding him. And sorry, Charlie.
Yeah. So I like at this round, I for some reason thought my name was out there, like near the end of the round. So I did I told people that I wasn't voting, and I ended up voting Renee sort of defensively. And then after it tied, because I knew, like, I had lied to Renee about something Charlie had said, I thought that they might expose me if Charlie was still there next round. So I changed my vote to vote out Charlie in that first round. I don't know if anyone else changed their vote.
So I have a question for Braden. I changed my vote, and part of it was because I can't remember if it was before the tie or after the tie, but I wrote down you came to me, and we might have been in a room by ourselves, and you told me that Renee and Charlie were saying my name. Do you know if that was true about Charlie? Because I felt good about Charlie before this. Or did you just make that up?
Honestly,
I'll say, as Gabe said here, your name was kind of
yeah. Honestly, I was trying to steer away because I was trying to really work with our first room, and our first room got quite far. Other than Sarah G gone too soon, but yeah, your name came up a lot. So I mean, I think that was probably true. Yeah, those rounds were fucked. It was so bizarre, and it was really funny because TR and I met in a room at one point, and TR's like, oh, I didn't vote the first round, but I lied and said I did. And I was like, oh, I did vote the first round and lied and said I didn't.
That's what I did.
So then we were like, oh, perfect. Our lies will cancel it out. No one will know.
Yeah, I had 3 names written down when I first saw the cast. And sorry to everyone in this room, as I thought who I thought would win. Number 1 was Muna, so I was right. That worked out. 2 and 3 were Charlie and Renee. And both went out back to back.
You were on a podcast with me. What?
I so sorry. Like, I find Charlie, the way that Charlie plays the game, to be fascinating. So I played with Charlie in my mini and barely really saw him, just heard from everyone else the chaos that he was creating and managed to see him for like a minute within the game. But I feel like he does it completely opposite from the way everyone else does. And everyone else is going so fast. And he just kind of reclines back and speaks slowly to everyone as to his ideas. And one of my
logically chaotic when some players can be very messy chaotic. It's a big difference.
It's a very chill way of playing. One of my favorite moments of the whole mini was TR, Braden, and Charlie came in, and he's like, guys, I have an idea of how we should do this, right? We're gonna go sequentially left to right, alphabetically. This way we can vote and we never need to speak to each other. And you both looked at him and were like, no, we're not doing that. It was phenomenal. I loved it so much.
I love Charlie so much. I wanted to work with him. That's why I thought I needed to vote him out when you said he was saying my name.
I never really spoke to him. He was one of the ones very early on I didn't really speak with. So that's why I wanted him out, because I didn't speak to him.
Charlie, you got to speak to more people.
Yeah, he called it the alternating strategy. It was bizarre. I was like, this is too confusing for me to figure out within like the 5 seconds that you're talking to me. And he said it so slowly, it took up like half the round for him to tell us his alternating ridiculous strategy. I was like, oh my God, this guy's gotta go.
Iconic.
Yeah. I felt bad for Charlie. He just kind of became a scapegoat too. Like people would talk about names and then the person would come in the room and they'd be like, oh yeah, Charlie said it. You know, and I'm like, oh, poor Charlie. That happened to Braden too later on too.
Well, Charlie, gone too soon, was eliminated. First vote later. We got the second part, wherein Renee was eliminated. How did you all end up shifting towards that vote? I know for myself, I know not the most exciting, but it was like, well, I mean, I was already kind of plugging her last round. I'll just get her out this round.
Yeah, I had no vote that round because I had voted for Charlie the first round.
And Braden had no vote. And Keeley, did you have no vote?
I had no vote, but I played the LOS successfully for myself.
Well, that's good.
That's
handy that you have that.
So how many votes were there on you then? There must have been at least 4 votes on you.
Well,
or 5.
I don't know. Sarah, did you vote for me that round?
I voted for you so many times. Yeah.
This was the round. Like, Tiara, I know we talked later and you were like, yeah, I've had like 6 or 8 votes on you. But was that for the even round or was that for this round?
That was for the even round.
Okay, so I don't know who voted for me this round, but I wasn't feeling good.
I will say I have in my notes that I pushed you. So so I must have pushed your name a little bit there. But that's probably only because people were saying it me first. I don't think that I was like, yeah, Keeley, we got to get her. I'm almost positive like my argument was, okay, I want to go Renee because I had already pushed her last round.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know how many votes were on me. I don't know how many votes were on Renee. But yeah, it was crazy. I was happy I played it because I almost didn't.
LOS successfully used.
But I did, right? So this is where I like started a new page in my notes. I like wrote like, okay, who am I working with? Who can I trust? So I put allies. I felt good about Frankie. I said Braden, Sarah G, Brendan, and TR. And I thought I need to come for Sarah Y.
You did.
I figured she was coming for me. So that was mine.
Well, Renee was eliminated, and that brought us into round 6, which was the even numbered votes round. Yes, Rachel, please.
The one. Okay, I jumped the gun with this
one. No.
Sorry, Braden. I was in a room with Muna and Albie, and I can't remember the 4th person, but Muna threw your name out that you were a bit of a chaotic player and this and that, and I hadn't really spoken to you, so I was like, okay, let's go. How do we strategize this round? So we had the 4 votes in the room, and I was like, okay, this is cool. And then I think I came into a room with Bridget and Sarah G. And Sarah G said, Braden is going to put a vote on himself. So so we were at 4 at that point is what I thought. So then she was going to put a vote on you, and then you were going to put a vote on yourself. So that would have been 6. So that's what we were strategizing.
Yeah.
Was to get you out. And then Bridget ended up going home. So somebody in my original 4 ended up going back on whatever they said they were going to do. But that was the plan in our room. And I thought it was going to be executed, to be honest with you, but it didn't.
I was in a 6 with you, Sarah, Shannon, Brendan, Albie, I think Sarah G. And we said we were going to be voting Keeley that round. Did you vote?
God, I could trust you.
I did vote Keeley that round.
Oh, Keeley told me that you were the one that told her that I was gunning for her. I was like, oh, so PR flipped.
Oh, no, I probably did.
That was later.
I probably
did.
Later.
Oh, okay.
I probably told her, but I did vote Keeley.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know what made it odd.
So, yeah, I don't know either, because we had a room and our 4 were saying Robert, but it was because hardly anyone had said Robert's name before, and we just thought it would be possible to get 4. And then people like Dylan and a couple others just like were making me feel super sketchy. So it was like right at the end of the round, I did self-vote. And so one of your group must have not voted me, because I asked Audrey after and she said that my self-vote made it odd, and that was the reason I stayed.
I wonder who flipped in our original. We had the original 4 that.
Yeah, or maybe someone else, threw a vote at me. Just
that might have happened
unknowingly. Yeah, I don't know.
So I voted for Robert, and I love Robert. I didn't want to vote him, but oh well. And I thought there was. I forgot to take notes. And I was like, who was the 4? I don't know.
It was me, Keeley, Frankie, and Dylan.
Dylan, right? And Dylan.
And Dylan was the sketchy one of the 4. Like, he was the one that felt like he wasn't doing it.
So he apparently was like he told Robert that I was the one behind the 4, even though I wasn't even in the 4 to get him out. He said it was me and Frankie, I think he said. But then Robert misremembered and thought Frankie was the one who said that, and said that I was the sole person who created it. So he was like coming after me at the end of that round. It was like super suspect with me. And I was like totally blindsided. And I didn't want to mention that I was voting Keeley because I didn't want the votes to shift off Keeley and then you not potentially go. And that was an interesting round, because there was a lot of like people saying, I'm in a 4, I'm in a 6, but I'm not going to tell you. Like, I thought that was fun.
And this was a round where I felt, I was just saying this was a round where I started to feel a lot closer to Frankie, because I felt he was like working to save me. So he like went up on my ally list.
Yeah, and this is also the round when I realized that Muna just fucking had my number. Like someone was saying like Muna was just after you at the start of this round.
Yeah, she was.
So. And I was legitimately just like, fuck, I'm trying to make sure Muna gets to jury. Why is this happening?
Yeah, I saw things in the chat where apparently like you were fighting to save Muna, and then Muna on the other hand was fighting to send you home, and that's just kind of funny, that parallel.
Oh god.
So do we know who voted Bridget?
Yeah, I think I do, assuming it was 2 that sent her home.
Brendan and someone else.
Not Mallory. Morgan. So, because my last room I was in was with Brendan and Morgan, and we were like, let's just put a 2 on someone. We chose Bridget.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if it was 2. And so Mallory almost got DQ'd that round. So.
Yeah, that was what I was trying to bring up. I think that was one of the most exciting moments. Yeah, Morgan.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That was so funny. The internet.
That was edge of your seat excitement. It was like an episode of 24. I don't know how many of you, Sarah, you were there. I don't know how many of you went back and watched that, but I have never been more stressed in my life. Like, she had like a countdown of how long she had until she could get the vote in, and she couldn't manage to vote. MP had to come in and play like IT to try to fix her computer. That if you all remember like the long pause that you were on in between, like it was. And they told her, they're like, you have 1 minute to send this before you get DQ'd. And she managed to send it with like 20 seconds to spare. It was great.
Wow.
I give props to her for being able to drink that much wine during a mini sequester because I'm so stressed out. I can't even drink because, I mean, later on I did, but in the beginning round, maybe I should have a drink in the beginning rounds because I get so stressed out. I'm like, freaking A, I don't know what's going to happen. It could be anybody.
Yeah, it was funny because I had a moment with her where she was like saying something to me and I was hesitant to align with her because I'd seen how she had played last time. And I was like, I don't know, how much Franzo wine have you had tonight? And she said, hey, like I said in my intro, 1 glass of wine, 1 glass of wine. And she sipped a big glass of wine after saying that. It was great. And then I will point out, no hate to Morgan. I think she's hilarious.
I love her.
Of all the people to be dragged by, I think it's hilarious that it was Morgan because she was not even on my radar, and I only threw my vote on her because I thought she'd be safe that round. I thought it was Frankie or Braden going, and I didn't want to vote either of them.
Me too.
And she voted. She submitted her vote a couple of times in the private chat in the room that only the players can see, as opposed to Skype.
Oh yeah.
And then she was dealing with Skype issues. She like didn't know how to vote and like was on mute for like half a round. And I was stuck with her. And I was like, all right, well, if you're dealing with your Skype, I'm gonna go. Hey, so joining us now, he was insistent in the chat that he wanted to clarify a couple things. He's going to join us for the rest of this round and the next round. And Louis has graciously stepped out. Until then, we have Robert joining us. He's itching to clarify some things.
Hello.
Hi, Robert.
What's
Hey,
up,
Robert.
everyone?
So,
Hi,
we're not talking about your elimination round just yet. We're talking about the even votes round still. Okay.
So, first, the even votes round. I was in the room with Rachel at the beginning where Muna told me, hey, Braden. Yeah, Muna was like, Braden's throwing out like your name to people. And like, he's saying you're saying stuff and that I'm saying stuff. So we should all go after Braden. So I was like, okay, Muna, let's do it. And then, but I was like, we need a 4th. Then Albie jumped in. And we were like, here's our 4. We'll all vote Braden, yada, yada. That's how that round continued. Then the next room I jumped into was with Dylan. And Dylan was like, hey, there's a room of 4 saying your name, but I'm not going to vote you. So hopefully like that'll be odd. And me and you should just do a 2-person vote. Let's do Sarah Yell because she's been throwing both of us under the bus. And I was like, I was like, you could do that, but I need to stick with this vote I have on Braden so that he goes home, hopefully. And then Brandon came in the room and was like, hey, Brendan, sorry. And then was like, hey, what's going on? And that's when me and Dylan, Dylan's like, I just want to put 2 votes on someone. Let's do Sarah Yell. And I was like, yeah, you guys do that. I'm out. I'm doing my own thing. So that was that round.
I'm pretty certain that Albie didn't vote. Albie fucked it up for you guys. Because Albie and I were gonna go pretty deep. Like a couple of times when people were saying, like, I've watched the whole video last night afterwards. A lot of times when people were like, wow, Albie coming for Braden, I think it's just because he was in a room with like Muna or in a room with people that were saying my name. I don't think he was gonna go after me. Yeah.
I wonder. I think I asked him though, and I think he said that he did vote you that round. So we need to get the truth on that.
He probably lied. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. So then
I feel like maybe somebody threw a vote or something that round.
I questioned Dylan. I was like, Dylan, tell me who was in that room, and he did one of those who was in that room? Frankie and TR. That's who he told me, and he couldn't remember the other person. So he saved Braden and Keeley for some reason. And so then I went to the next room and I found TR, and I was like, hey, Dylan said that you were in that room. But then TR was like, I was not in that room. And then I didn't know who to trust or what to believe.
It was true. I was like, I had no clue what the hell you were talking about. Yeah. I hadn't heard your name at all until the room prior when someone had mentioned there was a 4 against you, but they didn't tell me who it was.
Yeah. So then I wanted to protect Dylan because Dylan said he wasn't going to vote for me that round. And I felt strong with Dylan. I was going with Dylan and Sariel, like from our starting room, and Janine, poor Janine, rest in peace. And, like I wanted to protect Dylan, so I told TR I was targeting Frankie. No, I told TR that Frankie told me that he was in the OG room because I was targeting Frankie. So I wanted TR to go after Frankie. So instead of telling him the truth that Dylan told me that it was him and Frankie, I told TR that Frankie told me TR was in the OG room. And that's how, and then starting the next round, me and TR both agreed to vote Frankie. And that's how that next round started.
Oh, that was complicated shit. You're playing like 4D chess. I'm over here just like, should I vote for myself or should I not vote for myself?
That's why I was like, I need to get on here and explain just at least this round. Like,
yeah, Robert, strategic king.
Because that whole round, that's when I fucked up. Then that's when I like became a target in the next round. And then we go into the next round.
Robert, I love you because you were like you were like, when I got into room with you, were like, Rachel, you were my pick winner. And I was like, okay, he stays. We like him.
So I want to clarify this to Frankie. How I was operating was if I got cornered by someone one-on-one, I was going to tell them what they wanted to hear until I could get out of them and snow them out of coming after me. So for Robert, part of that was true. I was also playing a much more upfront game where I would like, for the most part, be upfront with people and tell them what was happening. I also didn't really have qualms in telling people that people were talking about each other because after this round, I told you that Frankie had been talking about you, and then, or that people, were talking about you. And then after you tried to get me to go against Frankie, I had already aligned with Frankie. Also, not that you could have known this, but Frankie has commissioned me to do some video editing work for him. So I have a mini employer-employee relationship with him. So, but here's the thing. I will say I had no clue he was playing the game. I asked him about this weekend and he was like, oh yeah, I'm so busy with work. I don't know. And then when we wound up in room 1 together, I was genuinely shocked. But he's someone who said in his last game, and he said in this game too, I'm very upfront. And I will drag people who betray me, and I will blah, 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 blah. And I didn't want to risk that. So you hadn't necessarily said that to me, and I'd kind of like, calmed you down a little bit, and you were just like, okay, go Frankie. And I was like, yeah, you want me to do that? You want me to go Frankie? Without necessarily, I don't know if I 100% promised ever that I would do it. I tried to be vague whenever I could. I might have slipped. But then when I found Frankie, I immediately told him, hey, Robert's pushing your name. And I even confronted him and said, hey, Frankie, I hear that that Robert said that I was the one who was spreading his name around. And he was like, no, TR, I did not do that, TR. Robert is a liar. Robert has been lying from the get-go. So I think that's kind of where things started to go wrong for you a little bit in that round. Which, to touch back to the last to the even number round, I was shocked when Bridget was eliminated. I was my jaw dropped. But now, so we're in the back to basics round. Votes exposed. There would be a drag. Wherein Robert, you were eliminated by the end of the round, and you had quite the memorable exit drag speech, and it might be a world record in length right now. It went on and on and on, and I was cackling. It was so funny.
It's all a blur, honestly. I don't like that whole however long that was. It was such an unfortunate round. I didn't get into the right rooms that I needed to get in. I was talking to like the same people that I knew didn't have my back. So I was like, why am I talking to you guys right now? Like, I need to go save myself. And then I'd be in an empty room, and I'm like, maybe I should wait for someone to come in here. And I'm like, why am I wasting my time? Like,
that's the worst feeling, hey? And I think that round, in a drag round, people are willing to throw votes, so it's so hard to really get your people together. I hear my vote. Like, I voted TR because I was like, he is never going home,
Shannon.
And I want to be.
I voted Shannon, Rachel.
I threw my vote on Brendan. I threw my vote on Brendan that round.
Yeah, so Robert could have left with like 4 votes or something. I think, I guess it was. It was. I'm like, okay, that was the deal.
I was like, I ain't getting dragged. But to be honest, though, Robert, if I was gonna get out, I wanted it to be on a drag round. I was like, please let it be on a drag round. Please, if I get out, let it be on a drag round.
No, I hated that. I hated. Sorry,
I would have loved it. No, I'm just saying I would have loved that. I was like, God, I just wanted to be on drag round. Keeley, I would have taken you with me.
Really?
I would have because you were the only person.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really, Robert, I so like I had your name in the evens round, but then this next round I really was pushing Frankie because I wanted the the numbers to even out or be villain numbers in the majority. I thought Frankie might pull a hero if a hero voted for him. Like he just seemed like the type that was like,
yeah. Does Sarah want to talk about?
I think this is when I lost the game. No, I don't regret not voting for Robert and being shady. What I regret is assuming Albie would get over it, but he did not. And so then, like, I was brought up every round. He literally started pushing me and I thought he would get over it, but no, he was mad at me for being shady.
I thought that was an excellent move. Watching it back,
I don't know. I was just very convinced. Well, Robert, if we got in a room together, I feel like we could have talked it out, and I don't think you would have. I was just convinced of the fact that we didn't even talk. I was like, he's gonna drag me. You know what I mean? Like, what?
I
claim you would have, but I still think you would have.
If you gave me the choices now, I would choose totally differently. And if you gave it to me like maybe 5 minutes after that, I would choose differently. Or before, like in the moment, it took so long because I just couldn't decide who to actually drag. And I voted Frankie that round too, and I was just. But this thing, I knew everyone was throwing their vote. I should have threw my vote somewhere randomly in the hopes that that would be the majority.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Should have thrown it on Shannon. Sounds like.
Yeah.
Rachel, we manifested our minds.
Yeah, I should talk
about. We got Shannon out.
See, that round was so
wait, was she dragged? Did you dragged her?
I dragged her. I dragged her right out. And Brent was pissed. Brent was so pissed at me. Like, oh my God. My reasoning was in that round, I didn't talk to so many people. So like I never saw Albie and I never saw Muna. And I felt personally like I felt bad if I were to drag them without like they didn't see me that round. So like why did they have there's no reason they had to keep any loyalty to me in that round if I didn't even talk to them to say, hey, vote Frankie. Because I'm sure if I were to get in a room with them at the end, even with Shannon, I bet I could have got Shannon, Albie, and Muna all to vote Frankie. But I actually talked to Shannon that round, and I said, Shannon, please do not vote me out. If you don't vote me out, like I will help protect you in this game. But then she voted me out. So then I was like, fuck you.
Yeah. Robert, I really pushed out. Like I was pushing for Albie to do Frankie instead of you that round. So I don't know what he must have just really wanted to stick to the plan. Sort of.
He ended in my room. He ended in my room, and I was pushing it.
Oh, okay.
So him and Shannon both ended up voting Robert because of me, I think. Which is why.
And you not voting me was so good, I think. Like I think getting people to vote me out without you having to do it, so I didn't even think of dragging you. I also thought I had to drag one of the people who voted for me. I obviously did not hear her say apparently over and over again that like I could drag anyone.
Yeah, they said it a few times. I was like, I was still just like, oh, Robert could just like take anyone.
Would you have dragged someone different?
I would have dragged Frankie probably, honestly, just because.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Right. But,
and Rob.
Yeah. It doesn't matter.
Well, you ended up going that round. Your speech was very memorable. If you didn't listen to Robert make his dragging decision, it's a fun thing to play back. Check out Liquidated's multi-viewer archive playback. It's very handy if you don't use it. And I just want to say, Robert, your video was something. It was equal parts hilarious and unhinged, and I
can't believe that the three people I call out in like Serial, Albie, and Keeley at the end like all show up in the game. I had no idea who would be in this game at all. I guess I assumed Muna. That's all I assumed.
I thought I assumed Muna as well.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me on here and letting me.
Of course, thanks for coming on, man. Everyone. Before you go, do you have any Twitter handles or anywhere people can follow you if they want to keep up?
I actually I don't have a Twitter. I don't have an Instagram. I'm just chilling. I'm living my life pretty good. So
that really triggered Rachel. Come on, you gotta get something.
Maybe I should make one, but like. I feel like I'm so committed now for like over a decade of not having Twitter like that.
Hey, I commend you though. That's pretty awesome that you like
are
just living life and happy.
Yeah.
Probably better, to be honest.
Yeah, you're probably a lot happier.
Yeah, you're probably a lot happier than me waking up with notification news, coronavirus. Congratulations.
Thank you. It was so much fun playing with you all. What a great cast. What a great
Robert,
time.
you're so great. It was so fun playing with you.
Thank you, Robert. I'm sorry that we couldn't have worked together. Your name was just going around a lot too early. I'm sorry.
Yeah. As Sarah said it best, like I got too messy too quick. Like I don't know what I did. Sorry.
You played hard. You played logical. And that was a thing that we talked about early on. And I was like, Robert, you play logical. People want to keep you here because, they feel like you're going to be straight up and be able to trust you. Like that was, you were never really chaotic at all too.
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
No, I did. Yeah, I tried my best. Sarah, what I meant by that was I already started rewatching some of it, and it was the round that I went, because then you heard from Brendan that I was saying your name in the even votes round, and so that's why you were also pushing me hardcore that time. And then you just made some comment of I don't know why Robert's getting all messy all of a sudden.
Oh well, oops.
I loved it.
Well, thank you very much, Robert. I'm sure Shannon is not thanking you for dragging her. Shannon was dragged, by the way, at the end of the round.
I'm sorry, Shannon. I know it was
What can you do? You got to pick someone. One person can win. There really shouldn't be too many hard feelings about it. Hopefully, she understands, and hopefully, you both come back and play again and get redemption. It's only fair.
It's only exactly.
All right, Robert. We'll see you later.
Love you, Robert.
Bye.
Thank you all so much. Love you all. Ciao.
Right,
Bye, Robert.
Bye. Now, with the end of that round, that brings us into round 8, the floaters grab a life vest round. And joining us to discuss this round, we have none other than the person eliminated, Sarah G.
Oh my god, all my favorite people are on this podcast. I have some questions for Rachel, but we can get into it as we move.
So let me just set the scene for the round real quick. So in this round, the audience is asked to pick a room wherein they feel the biggest floaters reside. In that room, the players in it are all up as biggest floater flop type votes, and the rest of the players have to choose who they feel the audience feels is the biggest floater in the game. It's an interesting twist to navigate. The problem is that if the votes don't match up, if what the players think, the audience think don't match up, then it goes to a wheel. Is that right? Isn't that what happened the other day?
No.
What happened? I still don't understand. We don't understand.
I watched this the night before we played, and essentially what happened is the audience got it wrong, and then the power flips to the people who were nominated, and they can eliminate whoever they want. So I honestly figured that I was going to go up, be the audience, because I don't play a public game, and I'm not going to apologize about that. I'm not there for the show. I'm there to play the game and play it well, in my opinion. But I knew there's no fucking way the audience is going to vote out Rachel Swindler on a vote. So I said, Rachel, I'm going to push your name. And you should let me push your name. And then fuck it, the three of us can vote out whoever we want. So that made sense to me. And then you played an LOS and Dylan played an LOS. I didn't understand why that happened.
Looking back on it, I got paranoid because it was only 3 of us. Mm-hmm. And then I started to think, I was like, damn, is Twitter going to go against me? Are they trying to tell me to step up my game? And so that's why I played my LOS.
Okay.
And that's why I played my LOS. But you had the correct strategy because
thanks, Walter.
Because when you're really thinking about it, is the audience going to vote me out? Probably not, right. Because of RHAP influence and all that stuff too, but I
declined to comment.
So. But yeah, so
I didn't know what.
But who did everybody vote out? Was it me or Dylan?
Dylan.
I voted Dylan. That's what I thought.
Oh, okay. So I think that so because Dylan played his LOS.
Because I think I don't want to make assumptions. I think I had a lot of people in the house who trusted me with 1 out of 3 of the votes. If the vote flipped, and Frankie had told me I'll vote wrong for you, and I think TRU said the same thing. So I was like, "Are you like?" I didn't understand the LOS plays.
I'm
To
sorry.
clarify,
I
never.
stepped you over.
To clarify, I never. I don't think I ever technically said I would vote.
You're like,
I was in.
I like figured that you were like good with me because we had been working together the whole time.
Right. I wasn't gonna vote you. I didn't. Right. I was pushing that. If you roll back the tapes, I was saying like, hey, I watched Sarah G's last game. You know, she got to the end being an under the radar strategic mastermind, so she could very well be doing the same thing and running the game for all we know. So that's something to consider. The audience might be seeing a whole layer to the game that we're not seeing.
Yeah.
You did say that.
Yeah, it didn't gain traction.
Thanks, TR.
Yeah, the logic there for me was like basically your logic, Sarah, that if Dylan is the biggest floater, then fine, Dylan goes home. And if he's not, I just assumed Dylan and you wouldn't vote me out.
Yeah.
Like,
Me too. I would have voted Moon out. I wanted her out the whole fucking game.
Oh shit. Rachel wouldn't have voted that.
She's amazing personally, but I wanted the heroes out and I thought she was gonna win if she made it to the end. And I figured she'd the LOS too. I was telling Keeley earlier that I made a list of who like everyone had played with. So Janine was only giving it to Jordan or Muna, and like I was like stalking her Twitter all week, low key. So I figured she gave it to Muna, but I was never in a room with the people I trusted to tell them that she had it.
Oh wow.
Wow. Yeah, I hardly saw you in the game. It was like sometimes you just don't see people very often, and it's
I didn't see Sarah Y for like more than a minute, but everything I knew that came out of her mouth, like I trusted 100%. So when she told me that, when she told me that my name was going around, like, and she thought I played the LOS round, that Keeley played an LOS too, because I was told that Rachel S was throwing out my name, which is why I did.
Which I never did. No, girl, I never threw out your name. Like,
okay.
I literally, there's no point for me to lie right now.
No,
I never threw out your name unless I was sitting in a room where somebody said it. I don't know if that happened. This is what I said when I was in Big Brother. I black out during everything. And so I seriously do.
Well, because I remember we were in that room with Braden, and I think this is the funniest part of the whole game. Braden was like, Rachel S., I want you to take out your pencil right now and write down all of our names.
Because I did actually. Funny enough, when Braden said that, I was like, oh, okay. And like I wrote everybody's name down. And I was like, I will stay loyal to these people.
Because I think we were in the room. It was me, you, TR, Braden. Keeley, were you in the room, or was... So it was a bunch of big threats, and Braden, you were like, all of us are big threats, and if you don't have us here, you're going home, and like just being like ridiculous, and I loved it.
Yeah, that was actually really fucking funny.
I really wanted. I could tell Rachel was just like over it and did not want to align with me, but I did want like each of the 3 people from the special minis. I was like, I want to be in a separate alliance with each one of those 3 people because I feel like they'll feel alienated or like won't have many people. But like,
I mean, yeah.
Brendan was for it. Shannon was for it. And I could just tell like Rachel, like the couple times I was like, I really do want to work with you. Like just your reaction, you were like, fuck this guy in the tube.
You know what? No,
I got the same thing.
It wasn't, I can't remember. Albie was very convincing for me very early on for some reason. He got a hold of me very early. And so my allegiance was towards him very, very early on. And I kind of just rode with him until the end. And I knew I was going to stick with Muna too. So.
I thought you were after me, Rachel, because people were telling me that because I called out Caitlin and Ika in my intro video that you would be like pissy about it.
They threw that out there because they thought that would be like a funny thing. No, I never.
Well, I only threw it out because I thought Hamza was playing and I wanted to kiss his ass. So that's why it was my tagline.
Okay, well, girl, people just said that to get you to go against me because
I wasn't against you except the even votes round, but I didn't even vote you. I ended up going with your plan because I liked it better because Braden was throwing out every fucking name.
Yeah, no, yeah, Braden, you seemed like a really smart player. Like you were very like, I was a little scared of you, to be honest.
I was scared of Braden too, so when he wanted to work with me, I was like, bet. But then Sarah was like, yeah, Braden's throwing out your name, and I trust everything. I trusted everything Sarah Y said. So I was like, why the fuck is Braden throwing out my name? I guess I'm just gonna vote him.
I think I just had said like the vote is between Sarah and Dylan. Like it was just like the facts. I thought
though and I confronted people. I was like, Shannon, did you throw out my name? She's like, no, I threw out Sarah Y's name. Like that was the stupid excuse that I heard the entire game about like people deflecting. Yeah, But I have to go. But it was good to hear that from you, Rachel, and I appreciated it. Keeley, I love you. Braden,
love you.
Cool, dude.
Anywhere people can follow you or find you.
You
that
can
you
follow
want
my
them to?
Twitter now that I'm attacking people on it. So it's Sarah GZ. I'm kidding. I just had a good time going at some people last night. It's Sarah GZ 2019 on Twitter. So that's it. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us, Sarah. Take care. Bye. And coming back, we have Louis joining us. Louis, thank you for holding down the backstage area for us, keeping it warm. So Sarah G eliminated. That moved us into the final pre-jury round, which was the even and odd voting twist, wherein the players were instructed to message Sequester bot privately on Skype a number between 1 and 11. Full disclosure, I voted 12 without even thinking about it. And afterwards, you were going to be placed on two factions, either evens or odds. And the evens can only vote evens. The odds can only vote odds. And Brendan struck the law, hit the jackpot. He was the only one out of 11 players to pick an odd number and was the only one safe with no voting power that round, where everyone else then had to turn on each other and decide who to get out. Where was everyone's heads at? Where was everyone leaning towards? I know that there were a bunch of names going around that round.
Yeah, I went home that round. My name. It was a 3-way tie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a 3-way tie, and Morgan.
How was I not in that tie? Real talk. Because I was only hearing my name, basically. I think I voted Braden that round. Sorry, just because I was hearing your name more.
I voted for Frankie that round, which we've connected on social media, so I feel bad saying that now. But he was one of the people I hadn't really spoken to leading up to that. And so I think that's why I voted for him.
Yeah, it sounded like there was a Frankie faction because I think the room I started in had a lot of people in it. And so they could carry a decent amount of votes. And I think the argument was Frankie shouldn't be on the jury or some stupid argument like that. Who was the other? And it was me and Morgan, right?
Yeah. You, Morgan and Frankie.
Which was a surprise to me because I wrote down Sarah Y, Braden, and Frankie were the names going around. I don't think I heard Morgan at all, if really. That was kind of a surprise to me.
Those might have been thrown votes because it was a drag round, wasn't it?
True, very true. It was.
I was telling people that I would drag someone who voted for me, but I wasn't going to say a name.
I threw my vote on TR.
This was also the round that we had where you, Braden, and Muna got into a room and kind of hashed it out. And you told her if she voted for you, you would drag her. And that was kind of going back to my question before as to if you would have really done that or it was just used as a tactic. So you would have dragged her.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've sort of thought this through that if there's a drag round, if someone's after you, if you can get them in a room by themselves and truthfully tell them you'll drag them, then you can turn the tides. But if you're in a room with lots of people and you tell that person that you're going to drag them, then everyone's going to vote you out knowing that they're safe, right?
Which is what happened, Braden.
Well, I said only Sarah Y.
I was
Sarah
in the room when you said that, so I went to another room and said, Braden's dragging Muna, I'm voting Braden.
Right, exactly. But I thought that you were so tight with me that you wouldn't tell people. And then you left, and then Muna and I really went back and forth. And I basically said to her, I was you're an iconic player, and don't do the fans a disservice by voting me out because you're going to be getting yourself dragged, and people want you on the jury, so don't do it. And then she cut a deal with me.
How many votes did Morgan have to leave?
Well, I think it started with 3-3-3 or 2-2-2.
4 or 5. She had 6 when she left.
So it was 3-3-3. I think so. What carries the day?
Because I threw my vote on Morgan. I threw my vote on Morgan because I wanted to break the tie.
Me too.
My vote on Albie.
Yeah.
I threw my vote on Abby first, and then I threw my vote on Morgan in the tie because I thought she was going to be safe. I thought for a fact it was going to be Braden or Frankie going, and I didn't want to vote either of them because I had already aligned with either of them, and Frankie had made it very clear he was going to drag someone who voted for him.
Well, I voted for Morgan, and I was in the room with her, and then after I voted for her, I was like, fuck, I should have done that. I'm in the room with her, and the whole time she's sitting there about to drag somebody, I'm like, please. And I was the only one in the room with her that voted for her. So
I was like, Rachel's in danger. I actually voted Frankie.
Yeah.
I voted Frankie twice in a row. I just felt like Frankie was going to be bitter with someone else if he left, and I wouldn't be his number one drag. But like, so the Morgan drag, I guess this is TR's thing to really talk about. Did her and Muna have some sort of thing? Like, were they feuding or what was that?
Oh, yeah.
Last game, they were like rivals.
Who?
Morgan and Muna.
Oh, yeah. They're on their mini, they were rivals.
Well, so she tried to drag Muna first, and then left the game. And so I'm sitting there thinking like, oh, hell yeah. Like, I don't have to get out the fan favorite and be the fan hated for this game. And I was like, she's going to be the clear winner. She was. She ended up winning. And I was like, this is incredible. I have such a good shot. And now we're in jury. She's gone. We sat there for like 5 minutes. I'm already like ending my notes on the round, like setting up my notes for the next round, like writing like the round, whatever, so-and-so people left. Muna's out, scratching her name off on a thing. And only to find out Muna has an LOS, which was the one that was willed to her by Janine at the top of the game. Gotta love it. And then I ended up being the one dragged, which I noticed a trend of 3 out of 3 games I play, I have been dragged at 10th every single time.
No.
The first time I played, I was dragged at 10th by Hunter G because she was sketched out by me. And I was the last pre-jury member. My second time playing, I was dragged by Natalie and she burned my LOS. So thankfully I had an LOS that time. And then this time I was dragged by Morgan. And I didn't have an LOS. So it just was terrible luck. What a great legacy to have. Gotta love it.
And after she told you how much she loved Mallory too.
I know. God, what can you do?
Get over it. Sorry.
Yeah, I was nervous that round. Like TR, we were in a room together, and I thought
you were like, "It's me." I saw you go, "It's me." It's me.
I thought I for sure was getting dragged because literally 30 seconds before I went in that room with you, TR, and like 30 seconds before the round ended, I was like, Morgan, I'm not voting for you. I am with you. Just because, and I didn't want her to go. But I thought, I don't know. So then I was like, she's going to think I just lied to her face and like was conspiring against her. So.
Yeah, when you were saying that, I was like, oh, good. Maybe it is Keeley. Nice. That's
I was
not me.
shocked when it was you. Well,
can I just make a blanket? Oh, sorry.
Oh, no. Go ahead, Rachel. I'm done.
No. I was just going to say, can I just make a blanket statement that I truly, this is why I love Big Brother, because you don't know anybody. You go into a game, you don't strategize beforehand. You literally go in with no preconceptions, no nothing. That's why I love Big Brother. And I as much I love these Sequester minis, I love it so much. And I love that Audrey's waiting to announce the cast until, I didn't know who was going in, so I can't pregame. You know what I'm saying? So I hate the pre-gaming stuff. Well, we weren't supposed to talk about that, were we? Anyways.
Well, I was saying don't talk about it if you did it, because we're not trying to endorse that.
No, I didn't.
You can talk about the concept of it because it does put a lot of players at an unfair advantage.
I don't like it. When I went into my BBUS versus BB Can, I didn't pregame, but I got pulled into stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I was just like, I wasn't trying to pregame because that I was told those were the rules, and I don't like to break the rules, to be honest. So I'm just saying that's why I love Big Brother. But I want a lot of these Sequester games. It should be released right at the last minute, and it should be people that don't know each other because I think it's a disadvantage, and it's not fair. That's all I gotta say. I don't know. I just randomly thought of that, so I thought I'd say it.
Yeah, it's true. And Audrey is like very serious about that kind of stuff. Like, she'll kick someone if there's like some discussion of like excessive.
I mean, you saw the enforcing of the rules with the talking during the rounds. Don't set yourself up to get removed from the game.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's a fun game. Like, there's ways people always talk about like the chats and all that stuff. Like, there's ways that people can cheat and make it not fun for people, and it's just we're here to have fun. And I people want to play the game for the purity of a fun strategy game, right? So I'm totally with Rachel on that. Even though you're still at a disadvantage weirdly because a lot of these people like just know each other anyways, right? Like it was just it's a tough situation.
Yeah, 100%. I felt like a fish out of water those first couple rounds. I was like, I don't know what to do right now. It felt so weird.
Well, then that began the jury phase of the game, which the first round to kick it off was you cannot vote for anyone you previously voted for, where Brendan ended up being eliminated. Now, I'll be honest, when I got out of the game, I got pulled into a couple conversations with people who were very mad with some of the moves I made in the game. And so I was a little too busy dealing with that to watch the game for the next 4 or 5 rounds. So you guys are going to have to really help me kind of fill in some of the gaps here. How did we arrive at Brendan? I obviously can understand with the twist, people probably didn't vote for him the whole game, but was it immediate? Was there anyone else that was considered or talked about, or was it clear Brendan from the start?
I was pushing Keeley because I think at that point was when Dylan had said that she was coming after me, and I hadn't voted for Keeley yet, so I was pushing for her. And then I got into a room. Maybe Sarah Y, maybe you were in there, and you said, I've heard a lot of people are saying Brendan. And I was in a room with, it was me and like 3 other people, and I was like, oh, well, there's enough people here, and this is the last thing that we're hearing, so we're all probably going to vote him. So that's why I ended up voting Brendan.
I had heard Brendan mostly, and then I came into a room with Sarah, Rachel, and Dylan, and you guys had said Albie. So then I got confused.
Yeah, I was never going after Albie.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought maybe like you were just saying that to me because you had just said my name.
We also had Keeley, your name was pitched by someone.
Rachel said she was pushing it.
Oh shit! Okay, yeah. And our room, everyone was like, "Oh, we already voted Keeley," and I actually hadn't voted Keeley, but I just really didn't want you to leave. So like that was one where I was just like, "Yeah, I voted Keeley. Sorry, we gotta choose someone else."
Well, I was feeling a little bit safe this round because I knew that, like at the beginning with that Renee vote, that I'd played my LOS successfully, which meant I got the majority of the votes. So I was just hoping that there was enough people there who'd already voted for me.
Yeah, I really wanted Rachel to go. Like I had a Rachel vote brewing as well that round.
You were trying to push for me to get out, Braden?
Well, because we got to jury, so I was like, here we are, time to boot. And like this is as soon as I got to jury, like I get very scared of sitting in at 4 with women because women kick ass in those final jury speeches typically and would probably beat me. So I was like, okay, the strong independent women are here. Now it's time to put them all on the jury. But that did not work. I don't know how, or did you play an LOS that round or did Albie play an LOS? I keep confusing what happened.
Albie.
I think Albie played it.
Albie did.
I think the chat is saying Albie did, if I hear.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, no one wanted you out then, Rachel. God damn it.
Well, me and Luna discussed
not that round.
Rachel out too, and I think it was that round. But I just checked my voting. I guess I voted for Brendan. I don't know why I did that. Whatever.
Well, thank you. I thought I might be going home that round too because I had heard my name as well. But it was weird. It was like in the beginning, I felt like I was threatened, but then right around like the mid section, I felt pretty safe for some reason. I don't know how that happened, to be honest with you. Because I thought once we got later on, I was like, damn, I'm really, because I used my LOS on that Twitter round and I was like, frickin' A. Was like, I'm going to need this later. And then I didn't need it later. So I was like, I'm confused.
Brendan's elimination brought us into round 11, the vote tether round, where Keeley, lost here. Fill me in. So I want to know who was tethered to each other. Do you know everyone else who was tethered? And how did we land on Keeley?
Yeah, I was tethered with Dylan, and we were like, Keeley time! So we were like from the start.
Yeah. And I was tethered with Braden, and I said, Keeley time! And then
Keeley gets in my room, and she's like, you're going home, Sarah. You're going home, Sarah.
I didn't say that. I said I'm voting for you.
Oh, okay, cool.
Because you would ask me like, are you said something and I'm a bad liar. So you were like, are you voting for me? And then I panicked and I had just had to lie to Rachel that I wasn't saying her name. Although I think Dylan did throw me under the bus more than usual because I wasn't the only one saying your name. I didn't remember saying it the round he said I did.
So hard. It was so funny.
It was crazy. And then I was like, well, that was like I just can't, that's not my game. I can't play that way. Like in real life in the game, like I can't do those like hardcore confrontations. Like I'd rather like, if my social game can get me to the end, that's great. But having to play from the bottom, I'm not skilled enough to do it, and I just couldn't. So obviously it didn't work with Rachel. I was like, great, like Rachel and Dylan are coming for me. And then like Sarah caught me lying like straight up to her. So I was like, I'm just gonna admit it. We'll see if I can stay, and then hopefully I can like rally troops now that like if I'm like straight up like feuding with Sarah, I was like, maybe I can rally people to be like, we have to get her out. That was my plan for the next round. But the problem was at the beginning, I was on the same page. I can't remember who I was in a room with. I have to go rewatch. Maybe if anyone is in the chat, they can help. But I thought I'd originally like talked, I don't know if it was with you, Braden, or Frankie or something about getting Sarah out. So I was like, Frankie's my tether. Albie, it was
like
right.
Albie, because Albie came to me and he said, and because I trusted Albie so much at that point, Albie was saying, Sarah, why you have to get her out? She is going to be a threat. She'll win this in the end. And I was like, at that point, I mean, Sarah was one of the people I had spoken to. I liked her, but like, Sarah, I hadn't spoken to you. I felt like we weren't in a room long enough together. No, I just felt like we weren't in a room enough long together. So I was like, I didn't know 100% how I felt about you. So, but I still wanted Keeley out first.
Yeah. So I didn't realize that Frankie was like not with me. Like I thought, like I was loyal to him at this point, and I thought he was loyal to me. So the problem was, I think he was in room 1, and I was like kept trying to go in there, and obviously he knew like we were tethered. So it'd be room limit, and I would be like, Frankie, like let's go talk. And so I kept like popping in, leaving, and he wouldn't come with me, so we couldn't. Oh, see, I don't know. We couldn't team up to
here. So I actually, Louis, once again, thank you so much. I'm bringing in Frankie in actually now to clear up some things. So let's talk about it. We have Frankie joining us. Thanks for coming on the show, Frankie.
I love you.
Hi guys. Oh my god. I wore a Canadian shirt yesterday, so I'm wearing an American one today. Anyways, no, Keeley, I was loyal to you, but at that point, I knew everyone was going to get you out. So I told Rachel, I said, Rachel, I am going to throw my vote against. I'm going to not vote with Keeley to save you. But Keeley, in actuality, I was voting with you to get Sarah out. But I wanted Rachel to feel really good that I was like, I had to make Rachel think I was going against Keeley. I actually did vote with Keeley, but I knew that Keeley was because I knew everyone wanted Keeley out. So I told Rachel, I'm like, Rachel, I'm doing this for you. I will not vote with Keeley. I will waste my vote for you. This is all about you, Rachel, like making her feel super, super good. And then at that point, trying to get Sarah, like thinking maybe Sarah would get out, but knowing that everyone was voting for you, Keeley.
So, yeah. So it was, so Dylan and Rachel, is that right? You guys voted for me?
It was me and Braden voted for you.
Oh, Braden.
And then Sarah and Dylan.
This is why I thought I had a chance, because I thought maybe Braden would like mess up Rachel's vote.
Yeah, so I think the mistake there was that I thought that 2 of the tethers, so 4 votes, were already on you. And
so you thought you were making 6?
Yeah, so I was just like, we can't even make, like, even if I mess it up, it would still be 4 on you. And so I was like, either I try to like completely turn the vote and then maybe the vote becomes, on me, or I vote with Rachel and sort of like prove something here, and then I can like use that later on to like solidify like I'm not as shady as you think I am or something. Yeah. So that was like my opportunity to like make it up to Rachel, and then whatever. Maybe like have her think she could trust me in the late game, which I don't know. Maybe that worked like partially, but who knows?
Yeah. No, I was like, maybe I thought there were no votes on Sarah, so I didn't realize, Frankie, that you had voted with me. So love you, King. But yeah, good job, guys.
Damn it.
Keeley elimination, that brought us into round 12, which replaced, again, what typically is usually the 7 deadly sins punishment round. Has been changed the last couple of minis. This time around, it was the rumor has it round, where Sarah, you were eliminated. And that's what it says. Round 12, rumor has it, Sarah Y eliminated. Is that not correct? Were you not eliminated then? Okay. Again, I was not watching this part of the game, so I wanted to make sure that the notes I'm looking at are correct. But so lead me down the road from the start of that round all the way to Sarah, your untimely elimination, and also maybe if anyone remembers some of the rumors and can fill me in. I love a good rumor. I'd love to hear them.
I said the thing that Braden and Sarah Y were working together.
I said that Rachel Swindler. I said Rachel Swindler has a big crush on Braden. I was like, will it into the universe.
That was funny. That was funny.
The rumor twist. I wasn't a fan of the rumor twist because, like, I just felt anything that was going to be said, we should all just disregard because anyone can lie. So, I love Audrey. I love the game. I thought this twist is a little bit like, meh. It's kind of it can be funny. Like the Rachel Braden thing was funny, but also I know when I was in a room with Rachel and maybe Sarah, we like couldn't hear each other because we kept hearing the rumors, but it was like feedback. So it's a bit of a tricky one, I think, to pull off. But yeah, it's still cute.
Did Frankie have the most votes? Frankie, did you play Nello West, right? Would you have played it if I didn't tell you to play it?
Sarah, I would not have played it if you didn't tell me to play it. So I genuinely thought I had 0 votes for me. You then
damn, Sarah.
I thought you were lying to my face. So I played it and I voted for you because I thought you were lying to my face.
Yeah, everyone trusts me. You should trust me.
Like Sarah, you saved me in that round, and you got.
I thought Albie was the number 2 vote, and so I was like, let's flush all the other. I thought you were the number 1. I really did think you were gonna go home, Frankie, but
I had an LOS, so
whatever. I know. I told you to play it.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
So was it success? It was successful.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, it was. I clarified after. It was successful. So
wait, I also
round.
I voted for you.
I might have. I could go look.
You, Rachel?
I don't remember. But Frankie, I was trying to get you out.
Like all times, or most of the time, or some of the time.
Well, I think it was. Well, unfortunately, I did not literally see you the first half of the game, ever. Yeah. And so you were one of the only people I didn't really see. So that's why I was like, I don't really know him. So. That was it because we hadn't spoken. But now that we've connected on Instagram and Twitter, now we're best friends.
Yes.
Yeah. I did vote you, Frankie. I just looked.
Yeah, so fair enough.
I think I voted for you too, Frankie.
So I used LOS only because Sarah told me to, and I saved myself and voted for her because Sarah,
I know. I should have voted Albie. I almost voted Albie when I told you that. I don't know. Whatever.
Sarah, you know I love you as a person, but I've been very honest about what I think of your gameplay. I think your gameplay is very you make mini deals like Keeley, I'm good, Braden, I'm good, Rachel, I'm good, Frankie, I'm good with you. We played before and it's like chaos. And I don't know if you have a genuine pact in the final 4 or the final 5 or the final 6. If people are actually Sarah is my number 2, Sarah is my number 3. Because again, I really like you personally, but that's just my opinion of your gameplay.
But Frankie, I feel like just because I don't make a genuine relationship with you doesn't mean it's not genuine with other people, dude.
Yeah, no, I just want to know who it's genuine with, though. Because in our season,
genuine. Me and Muna, so genuine. Me and Sarah G, so genuine. I never would have voted for TR. I don't know if we didn't talk too much games, so I don't know if that was clear. That's one of my problems. Is I don't think I'm straightforward with people if I'm loyal to them. There was a lot of people.
Which is funny because you're so straightforward with people that you're suspicious with. It's a little backwards almost in a way, in an interesting way.
No, exactly. So Sarah, why? When you're genuine with people, it doesn't appear that you're genuine with them. When Braden is genuine or when he's lying, I feel it. I believe him so wholeheartedly. But with you, it's
But that's because it's not genuine with you.
No, but I watched playback. I watched clips, and even when
last Saturday, no one wanted to work with me. So last Saturday was a flop for me.
That's fair.
Wise. I feel like my other minis were not that way. you know what, like Susie just said, like me and Susie were so genuine when we played. I am genuine with people. Just like last time, everyone saw me as some big threat, which so no one wanted to have a genuine relationship with me because no one wanted to work with me last Saturday, which is why the game wasn't that fun for me.
Playing 5 times is a different dynamic as well. So like I respect you for that. Like playing multiple times must be such a weird like mind fuck. So like I said, Sarah, I do love you.
I don't know if it's mutual.
Oh my god. You guys.
It's fine. Okay, next round.
Frankie. What happened with you and Albie?
Oh god. Can we talk about that now, TR? Do you want to wait?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Oh my lord. Okay, so at the end of the day, we play this game for a few reasons. One, because we want strategy. One, because we want to win. One, because we want to put on a show. In the middle of the game, Albie, like I was trying to make like friends with Albie, and he basically said to me, Frankie, you're not playing this game well enough. If you make it to final 2, I'm not voting for you because like you're not making any moves. So that was part 1. And then part 2 was like, I was a bit boring this game because I didn't know anyone. So I felt very confused. Like everyone had friendships and I felt very lost. So I wasn't as exciting as my first game. So anyways, I thought that my jury speech was my time to like stand out. And that was that. I sent him an apology message. I did apologize. I think we can be a person in the game and a different person out of the game. That's why I DM'd Rachel after. I'm like, we're all good. So I just think you can be a certain person and a certain person in real life. Like I'm a speech and debate coach. I work with kids in grade K to 12. Like I'd like to be their role model. I would never want them to watch me calling someone a rat. Like that is obviously not a great thing to do, but whatever.
Oh, you work with kids?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. So
sorry.
Sarah Y like hates me. Keely's not talking. Braden's not talking. I don't
know.
No,
I genuinely wanted
I'm
to
just
work
like
with
chilling
Frankie
on a pillow.
deep in the game with Frankie for sure. Like we had a connection just as far as like some other things we've done in the past, and like we live in the same city, so that was like a really just like lucky thing to have you in the cast as well. I was like, oh my god. Yeah. Like another weird one-on-one connection.
You're like a hero. I wanted to work with you too, but I never got into a room with you. I felt like for a long period of time.
That's all good. Okay, next round. Next
round. So this is your demise, Frankie. This was the button twist. The players were presented a red or green button. If they press the green button, it would be a typical voting round. If they press the red button, that twist would be unleashed. It's usually a hard twist. The votes are anonymous. Of course, the red button is pressed. It's always pressed. I'm sure we'll have people in the chat saying, always press the red button. They always do. Red button is pressed, and that unleashed the second highest number of votes twist. And LOS was played unsuccessfully. And Frankie, you were eliminated. Let's talk about that.
Can I ask a question? When an LOS is played unsuccessfully, what does that mean?
It means it just
soon enough?
No, it means that it's successful if you were the one that was going to go home, or you had like the most votes and you like successfully made it be the other person go home or something like that.
It's like somebody played it, but they didn't need to. That's what she means when it's unsuccessful.
Oh, so like if someone plays their LOS and they were going to go home, that's why she says it was played successfully?
Yes.
Yeah. 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 It's to give people like a little bit more information in the game. Like I think the person who plays an LOS.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense. Okay. So when it says unsuccessfully, that means you played it, but it was unsuccessful because you weren't the one that was going to go home.
You wasted it basically.
Like Braden played his in that round for fun. He knew he didn't need to. Everyone knew he didn't need to. He played it for himself and then didn't need to because he didn't get any votes. Right, Braden?
Yeah.
I don't know if you see this comment from Janine. A few rounds late, Janine, but glad we could get it in.
I meant to say Renee.
Wow.
It's okay, Janine.
I'm sorry that you went out first, Janine. I don't think I was in a room with you once the entire game, or the entire round.
I hated Janine went out first.
I didn't see her once, and then everyone was like, "It's Janine." And I was like, "Okay, all right."
Out of all the people that out of all the minis I had watched, I watched her mini, and I really liked her from her mini, and so I wanted to work with her. And so I was like, when she got out first, I was like, ugh. I was like, that's the only people I knew, or I felt like I knew.
Yeah, she scared the crap out of me. She's like really, like, She went deep. She was second, right? Yeah. Janine, I'm so sorry. You're gone too soon.
She was first, actually.
Yeah. First? What?
Yeah,
she won?
Yeah. No. Oh, I thought you meant this game.
Oh,
yeah. I know she's out first. Yeah,
right.
No, I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah, she was runner-up.
Right. I get what you're saying.
So I pressed the green button this round. Who did anyone else of you press the green?
I pressed the green. I pressed the green.
So Rachel,
so the other four, all the other four had to have pressed.
Yeah, so it was just me and you, Braden.
I really thought that if it was a straight vote, that Muna would be in big trouble, and like I was just like, I think this would be the time that Muna would go if it was a straight vote. But then we got the complicated ass vote, and I was wrong anyways because all of you wanted Dylan.
We were all in the same room, right? Was it? Wait, Braden, is this when you went out?
Nope, this was the one just before where Frankie went.
Oh, so what happened that round? Were we all in the same room that round?
Yeah, I know what happened, and I fucked up. So
okay,
basically, so I was eliminated at 6 twice, and both times it was because I fucked up the gameplay with the twist in this particular round. Basically, I voted for Albie, putting him at the most votes and me at the second most. Had I voted for myself, I would have been first, and Albie would have been second. So I literally just fucked up. I just fucked up. I don't know like which people voted which way. Like Braden and Rachel, who did you end up voting for?
I voted for you.
And then Braden?
Yeah, I was either you or
Albie.
Yeah,
so I was working with Albie.
If I just voted for myself, I would have had the most votes, and Albie.
Yeah, that's what Audrey had said that your vote was the difference maker in that round.
Yeah. So
Keeley and Sarah, how's the jury feeling about the game at this point?
It's hard to say because then you like I turn on all my I turned on my phone and was like getting a trillion messages. So this round was like hard to follow. I don't know. I was really open to anyone winning. I thought, Rachel, you were playing a really good game. Like you can scroll back in the YouTube chat. Like I was like, hey friends, what's up? And everyone was like, Keeley, who's winning? And I was like, Rachel winning. Because I thought Muna would be taken out right away.
I fucked up in the final four. I already know.
So I was like open to everyone. I had no idea what was gonna happen. I did not think Muna was gonna get there, so that was really cool. But yeah, it was crazy.
I couldn't believe I got to the final four either. I was like, how did I end up here?
Well, Frankie, you were eliminated, my man. I'm so sorry.
Aww.
That's tough. I know, again, I wasn't watching at this point really because I was dealing with other stuff, but I was rooting for you. I was rooting for a lot of you. It was a pretty solid group at the end of this point. It wasn't too bad. Obviously, of course, Sarah Y and Keeley, you would have been great to be farther as well, but it's not like we had necessarily too many goats or people not trying to play, at least it seemed, which I appreciated, so that's good.
But yeah, that was my end, and yeah, great playing with you guys again. In Sequester people versus out of Sequester people, I think they're different, so no hard feelings. Sarah Y, I love you. And I sent a long apology message to Albie, and I'm gonna keep it interesting if I ever play again. And yeah, thanks.
Do you have anywhere that people can find? No, we do. That people can follow you.
Shocking question. Yes, at Frankie Twitter, Instagram, Facebook page. Yeah. I'm just hustling, trying to make it happen, like a bunch of other people are too. And that's why I promoted myself in the first game, because you got to hustle in life. So
yes, happy Sunday fun day, Frankie.
Thanks for coming on, Frankie.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Love you all. Mwah.
Love
Bye.
you.
Thank God.
Welcome back, Louis. Oh.
Hello.
Oh my gosh.
I haven't moved, just in case,
So after that round,
Sarah, why are?
No. Go ahead, Rachel. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, why were y'all so bitter against each other, Sarah?
Well, for me, it's like, I think it's totally fine if you like drag my game and things like that. But he was like saying like I don't make real relationships and things like that get a little personal to me. I don't know.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
And I don't know. Maybe he makes genuine ones in the game, but I don't think he was making a genuine one in real life right there. So I don't know.
Perhaps he just meant it from a strategic standpoint, but I get where you're coming from and how that could be perceived personally. It's tough.
No, it's fine.
Frankie gone. Can't comment on it, but I'm sure you're fine with. After Frankie was eliminated and joined your ranks in the jury, we moved to the final 5 majority rules round, where Dylan and Braden were nominated. Muna, Albie, and Rachel were safe. Braden was eliminated.
Yeah, so I want to talk about that because Rachel brought up pre-gaming earlier, right? So I thought, I just had this suspicion based off of the people that were there. I was just like, it seems like some of these people might have pre-gamed. And if they went to the Terran school of pre-gaming, they would just do the start of the alphabet regardless of what the question was. And I was just, so my logic there was, screw these people. I'm going to be in the majority with them because it was me overthinking the fact that maybe people had talked and stuff. So I was like so in my own head that I wasn't even really listening to the question. I was just like, I'm just going to do A and then B and then whoever else was next in the alphabet. And so, yeah, like that, the majority was 3 for Braden is the most liar. And I didn't get in that majority. Did you even think of Oh, go on.
I just remember you popping in and out of rooms saying things and this and that. And I was like, I feel like people are going to think that. I don't know. I just felt like you were very vocal throughout the entire game, which was the reason why I voted for you.
It was so funny too, because I think I would have, like, I was between myself and Albie for that question. And this is obviously what made me not have immunity.
And I think I knew that Muna, probably subconsciously, whatever. But I think I thought at that time, Muna had tried to get you out previously, and Albie was a part of that. So I was like, they're probably going to vote Braden.
Yeah, that I'm the biggest liar. So that was my own fault and my own demise there, that I was not in that majority vote to say that I'm the biggest liar, which is so funny. Because essentially I was like lying on the majority thing just because I thought other people would put A down. I really thought, like, for some reason, like Dylan and Albie just gave me vibes that they had been like pre-gamed or worked together and that their plan would have been to put A or something. Fuck. Anyways, that really, and I don't know what Dylan didn't do, Albie or me. He did himself, I think.
Yeah. So it was TR. It was down to Braden and Dylan.
It was Braden and Dylan, correct? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So, I think at that point the writing was on the wall. Like, I think Rachel, maybe you could probably speak to this, but I really felt like you and Muna were almost going to be impossible to flip to vote out Dylan at that point. But like,
Dylan's he's like my gay, so I couldn't vote for him out.
Yeah, exactly. The hero gang. So I was like, fucking hell. I literally, like, I went for the, like, it's the big show thing. I thought like maybe Muna or you would like feel that on some level, but like, I don't think I was ever going to actually flip you there.
Yeah.
Maybe Muna.
The do it for the fans strategy.
Do it for the fans. I mean, the thing is, like, I'm up against Dylan. That to me was the hardest person to be up against at that point, because I felt like there was a logical argument if I was up against Muna or you or Albie to say that Muna, you, or Albie could win the game. Like, we're for sure going to win the game or something. Dylan, I think you guys felt like he was like a less likely to win the game. So it's no good. Such a hard place to go out.
I just felt more of a kinship with Dylan because he was the one that told me Keeley was throwing my name out, and so like I was like, okay, this boy has my back.
Yeah, Dylan was really good at taking information, spilling and telling it to the right people, and then not getting caught for it.
Yeah,
necessarily.
100%. Yeah.
So that was my demise. It wasn't a very. It wasn't. Yeah, it was pretty boring. Like you guys were gonna vote me out. I tried, and then we got to the final 4. Rachel's favorite place.
Where I fucked it up.
Dylan, Muna, Rachel, Albie. Final 4. Rachel was eliminated, and she dragged Dylan.
Okay, so Okay, so how I should have played it. I should have called out Muna. I should have told the guys they were never going to beat Muna in the final two. That's what hindsight's 2020 always. That's how I should have played it. It was really funny because like right before, I've watched a couple of minis before, and I like every time it would go to the final four, I'd always be like, how the hell do you play this thing? I was like, this is so hard. I literally got like anxiety watching it because I was like, I don't know how to play a final four. So like I tried to follow. I watched the mini the night before ours, and I watched it from the beginning, and I was like, okay, how are these people playing the final four, whatever, taking it to a wheel at that point. And then Muna, I remember Muna saying something in the final four. She was like, I'm not going to vote for Rachel. And I was like, ooh, okay, she ran today. Okay, so then I'm like, all right, well then Muna, I was like, then let's take it to a wheel. So I don't know. I didn't know what I was doing. I should have told them that they were never going to beat Muna, which was the truth. No one was going to beat her. I thought personally I had done less in the game than she had, so that's why I was like, I should have gone with that angle. But
I mean, her name didn't come up once at all. The entire game to vote her out, aside from Morgan trying to drag her. Nobody mentioned in any room at any time about trying to eliminate her. So
that's actually crazy.
I mean, I actively tried to not eliminate her. I was very much for her for like a lot of the game. So she was in a good spot. So who did you? All three of them voted for you, Rachel?
Yeah, everybody voted for me because I sucked and I didn't say to vote out. Sorry, my phone's dying. Because I didn't say to vote out Muna. I messed it up. That's just the point blank in the period.
So Muna lied though, right? Because you said she said.
Was it no? Well, I voted. Yeah, she said she wasn't going to vote for me,
and then
she voted for me because she didn't want to go to a wheel.
Fair.
Yeah.
Final four's tricky.
Tell me about it.
I've been there.
I mean, Keeley, TR. I mean, tell me your experiences in the final four because for me, it is like I don't know what to. I was very when I made.
Don't ask me. I placed the same as you at final four. I was eliminated and I had a drag, and I was able to force the wheel the first time around. And I think Sharifa said she only did that to avoid me dragging her, not necessarily out of loyalty to me. And I didn't threaten to drag the right person, and so I had no reason. Like I wasn't deadlocking the votes anywhere, and I ended up being the easy vote on the revote, unfortunately. But you do definitely gotta name a target, and you have to know who you're voting for and who you're threatening to drag. It's you can't go into it like kind of half-assing it or second guessing it.
I switched my vote to gain favor so I wouldn't get dragged. I knew who I was voting for at the final four, but I voted with them on the first go around, and then on the second go around voted him out in hopes that would make him not drag me, and then he didn't drag me. So
I would add Rachel into that list now. But.
Yeah.
Wait, say that again, Louis. Say that whole logic thing that you said again.
So it was down to 4, and there was one person who was probably the biggest target who was going to win. He was pitching to me why I should vote with him and vote out one of the easier targets. So I voted with him on the first round. I said, okay, I'm willing to do that. And then in the second round, voted against him, hoping that because I voted with him on the first round, that he wouldn't drag me out. And because I showed some sort of loyalty, and it worked. He dragged the person who was least likely to win at the end.
That's what Sharifa, that's exactly what happened with Sharifa. It was the same exact thing.
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense. As long as they don't feel betrayed by the when you change your vote back, you sort of say like, hey, I really tried, but it's just like, I can't risk the wheel for this or something. That's crazy.
That would have been maybe.
I should have should have spoke just to Muna and been like, hey, who are we voting out? Let's vote out somebody. Let's do this together. But I didn't get that. We didn't come to an agreement on that. I didn't speak up enough, if you will. I feel like.
Well, Rachel, you were eliminated.
Shoulda.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda. Believe me, I had plenty of those when I played. It's so easy to the second you're out be like, of course, I should have. I'm foolish for thinking that this would have gotten me to the final two. I should have played this way instead. But that's, I mean, to touch on something that I think Audrey commented in the Facebook group today on a post was that one of the good things about this game is that it's not like necessarily like a Big Brother or a Survivor where there's so few chances to play and so many people vying to play it. Like this is a nice privilege that we have, like a luxury that we have to have something like this where there's 2 of them every weekend. This weekend there was 3. If you did poorly, you can play again and you can reassess your game.
Is there one tonight?
There's one tonight. It's a special spooky themed mini, so people are going to be in costume.
All right.
I wanted so desperately to play tonight. I wanted so desperately to wear some sort of spooky costume, but
I cannot wait for like a vampire and like a ghoul or something to be like fighting with each other. It's gonna be so good.
I don't think I ever want to play again. I get too much PTSD. I think I'm just gonna continue to watch.
I feel that.
It's rough. I definitely feel like it's going to be a while before I think of doing this.
Yeah, every time I play, I'm like right before I'm like, oh my god, this is going to be so much fun, and then like I get there and I'm like,
it definitely drains. Like I feel so drained when I'm done playing. Like I feel like I've exhausted such extroverted energy that I no longer have.
Yeah, I like can't sleep. I'm like running scenarios in my head for hours. It's stressful.
Okay.
Well, at final 2, that left us with Muna and Albie, where Muna was crowned the winner by a vote of 4-3. So let's talk a little bit about that. Any jury questions that popped out at you? Were we swayed by any answers in particular, or did we already have an idea of who we were voting for? Let's dish.
I feel like I was very, very torn between the 2 of them because Muna to me, her first game, she played very aggressive. She called people out. She did things that kind of Albie did. But then in this game, she changed up her game, which I respected the fact that, she changed up her game and she was like, I'm not going to play like I played last time because that's what got me out. So, and I can respect a silent game. I can respect somebody who kind of stands in the background and doesn't say much in order to get far. So I respect that gameplay. On the other hand, I respect the gameplay. I was aligned with him, which is why I respected him too, that he played such an aggressive game from the start. For somebody to literally sit in a room and say, yeah, I'm going to come after you, just so you know. And I'm sitting over here like, oh shit, I don't think I could have the balls to do that. So I respected both gameplays so well. And I literally was like, on the edge of my seat, like I was teetering back and forth the entire time, but I ended up voting for Muna.
That vote, I mean, was one of the swing votes, probably the swingiest. Swing vote.
If I had voted for Albie, he would have won.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was very much a swing.
Yeah, the whole jury chat too. Like I had the same experience. Like. Frankie was very vocal for Muna and Dylan was very vocal for Albie. And I was sort of like Albie seemed to play a good game a lot of the way. In my past mini, it was like a similar sort of feel where Bryce seemed a bit more of like a gamer throughout and was outward, but like Sharifa turned it up at the end. And I ended up voting Sharifa in that game. And I was like, this game, I don't know what it was. I think it was like, I was bitter about my vote at 5 that made me end up voting for Albie instead of Muna. Yeah. Also, I do want to say this, like, apologize to people about like the way that I asked the jury question was like really unsettling. And like, I watched it back on the Liquidator viewer, and it was like, it really just came off as like a microaggression and really shitty. Like I kind of like grouped, Muna in a way with like Sharifa and Susie and some other winners. And even though it wasn't like my intention, I think it came off in the way that it's just like not okay because people don't know what your intention is. So I've apologized on Twitter, but I did want to say this probably at the top of the show, but I'll say it now that I'm really, really I don't know. I felt really ashamed and sorry about the way that I said that. So, yeah, you guys can watch it back. Like it wasn't good. So don't be like me. Be a fucking like
you're
better.
You're fine, Braden. Don't
be
worry
better
about
people, myself included.
God, my hair, Jesus Christ.
I can talk. Oh, sorry.
Please, go ahead.
I can talk about my vote and my like thought process.
Sarah, Keeley, what? Oh, I can't even hear Keeley.
Are you talking? Can you hear me now? Should I unplug and replug?
Oh, I'm gonna pop out and pop back in.
Okay.
Because you can hear me too, right?
Yeah, I can.
I can't hear her.
Okay.
So it was such a hard decision for me. Like all my comments in the jury chat was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I'm so torn. And it was really hard for me because I'm obsessed with Muna. Like I don't use Twitter that much, and I just started using it when I like started tweeting about Sequester. And so pretty well like half my page is like a Muna stan account, and I love her. We never got to work like so closely together in the game. And then when I like watching back, like she was saying my name a little bit and stuff, and like I felt by the end like she'd probably like turn on me, and not that we were ever too close. But it went from like an okay relationship at the beginning to like, oh, like she kind of turned on me. Like I didn't feel as good about her at the point in the game when I went out. So I said, okay, we went from I felt okay about her to I felt not so good about her. With Albie, I went at the beginning of the game, I don't feel good about this person. I would like to get him out. He wants me out. I don't feel good about where I am with him. And by the time I left the game, I felt good with Albie. I felt like he wasn't coming for me. He had the way he talked to me, and we kind of hashed it out in a room like by ourselves, I think around when jury started or maybe just before that, where his social game towards me had made me feel like, I don't know, like I was good with him, which is crazy because we started the game like I need to get him out. Like he's probably like my biggest threat. So because I like really stand both of them, I thought they were so impressive. And I was tempted to maybe look at their journeys in Sequester as a whole, like take into account Muna's previous game and where I thought she like killed and really deserved it. But I was so torn on where to go. I thought, okay, I just need to have a way to evaluate this as objectively as possible. So I looked at just at the game last night, and I looked at just their strategic and social games. Like I tried to do it overall, but it came down to like how I felt about them. And I thought the way that I'm getting feedback a little bit. I thought the way that Albie somehow went from me not trusting him, wanting to get him out, to a place where I did trust him and did not want to get him out and thought he wasn't coming for me. And granted, maybe he still was. I just thought that was really, really impressive. And so I cast my vote for him. I hope that makes sense. It's kind of hard to verbalize.
That's smart.
What about you, Sarah?
Yeah, I think I went into it pretty open-minded. Like I said at the beginning, I was leaning towards Muna, and I was just because in the game, me and Muna had a better game relationship. Me and Albie just didn't really talk that much during the game, which I didn't even mean that as like shade towards Albie. I think I truly just, because he could have flipped my vote easily, but then instead he just, when I asked him to like talk about Muna's game, he just started roasting me. And so I was like, okay, that wasn't how I wanted you to answer the question. So like I voted for Muna just based on jury question at the end, basically, and the game, but.
Well, Muna was crowned our winner. She is going to be joining the ranks of Louis and others, other greats in the Winners at War Sequester mini coming up. TBD, I would assume within the next couple of weeks or so, next few weeks, we'll probably hear more about that. Any final thoughts from you all on this mini, on Sequester, on the community as we start to wrap up? And chat, if you have any questions that we haven't really answered or anything that you would like any of these players to touch on before we go, start sending those now so they can start coming in. But if we have any final thoughts from the players first.
I mean, I just think like it's really great to be at a place where you're at a final 2 or 4 or whatever, where it's like a hard vote and like where the audience doesn't know who's going to win. And like where all of us feel like shit, like both of these is a good decision, and not voting for the other person feels like a bad decision almost. Like it was such a hard vote. I think Brendan really surprised me about. I thought Brendan was going to vote for Albie to win, and I thought maybe Keeley might be voting for Muna.
Mm-hmm.
But especially with like the villains and heroes divide. But I don't know.
Yeah, it was so hard. I'm so happy for Muna. Like she absolutely deserved it. Like, and I can't even say like if I had to vote again right now, like I'd be just as confused as I was last night. Like I still don't know. And I'm just really happy for her, and I'm thrilled that she is like the representative of the Heroes vs. Villains mini, because I think she did awesome.
Yeah, she's gonna come back and just kick ass in the Winners at War one too. Like she's gonna do so good.
Yeah,
I'm shook to play with her. Like it's like watching, like Sandra or a Legend, and then going in to play with them. I don't even know what to think, but it'll be interesting.
Yeah, Louis taking notes.
Rachel, sorry, can you repeat that?
I'm not even kidding you. I talked for like 30 seconds thinking I was unmuted. And I'm like, da 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 da. It's been a pleasure. Love all of you. And
I'm so sorry. There was like a really bad echo from your end, so I had to mute you for a second while Keeley was talking.
No. I know why, but I was just laughing so hard at that. That was really funny because Braden's like over here like, and I can't hear a word he's saying. But anyways, it was great to play with all of you. I had a great time, and yeah, I really enjoy watching Sequester. It's a lot of fun. I really wish. So, did y'all see those edits that this guy did for the BBUS versus BB Can? Did y'all see those edits?
Yes.
Yep.
Those were literally iconic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like he edited it like a big brother.
Josh.com with 3 M's. He's been editing the Rachel's first mini into really well edited, like almost they might as well be like Big Brother episodes of the mini.
I laughed so hard. I was like, this is hilarious, because it was the round where Rachel Riley she used her LOS on Andy, and then she ended up going home, which was hilarious. But that was edited all together, and it was so funny to watch. But I wish I could watch the minis like that, because although it is fun to watch it jumping from room to room, and like it's so chaotic, so it's like it's really fun to watch like that. But I love watching it like how an actual Big Brother episode is edited. So that mad props to that guy.
Be sure to check out at josh.com with 3 M's at the end if you want to check out those episodes. I believe that they're still gradually releasing more, so I would imagine maybe more will come over time. Show your support to them. I think we have a couple comments coming in. Keeley, since you experienced both now, which is more fun to play, a dominant in control or underdog game?
Let me think about that. No, it was hard last night, and in all honesty, it's more fun to play dominant control. Like I was sitting there last night stressed. I'm like, this isn't fun. Like in the moment I was like, I'm not having fun, I'm stressed. But in hindsight, and as soon as it was over, like obviously I love the experience, and it's so fun to play regardless. But yeah, it was definitely out of my comfort zone for sure.
Okay. My question for the entire cast: when you started seeing the intro videos, who was the person you were most surprised to see and most happy to see in the cast? I think we started to touch this briefly, but we could talk a little more about it. What were your initial thoughts? You're sitting there in your room, you're seeing the intro videos. Who stood out to you as in like, oh wow, they're playing, or oh wow, they're playing? Maybe if it was like a hero side where you thought maybe they'd be a villain, or villain where you thought they might be a hero. I know I said Keeley, I thought you would be a hero instead of a villain. What about you all?
I was happy to see people I had seen I was happy to see UTR because we had tweeted previously. And then I was happy to see Janine because I had watched her play. And then I thought Morgan was hilarious because she got drunk and started screaming coronavirus and in her mini. And then that was it, because that's all I had really seen play. So I was just laughing at all of them. That was it.
I was like really surprised and happy with like Dylan for one, because I didn't know he had even played a mini before, but I have a personal relationship with him. And Brendan, because I'm obsessed. Like I was obsessed with the way he played the Influencers mini, so I was like just fanboying.
I can't hear him at all.
fanboying about Brendan. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
I can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. Woof.
Yeah, it's just me.
He's saying that he was most surprised by Brendan. He was such a big fan of Brendan and his game.
Oh, okay.
And people clocked it like pretty early. Like Brendan was like the only one that I was really just like, I got to get a secret alliance with him. And like Muna just clocked us, I guess. Like I was looking at the comments like quarter way through the game.
I was thrilled. I was thrilled to see Robert. His video just killed me, and I was so excited for him to get a second chance because I definitely messed it up for the both of us in my first game. So I was so excited to see him there. I'm sad we didn't get to work together.
When I saw Robert's video, I was like this the whole time. I was like, what is going on? I don't understand this play.
I told him, I said it was unsettling. It was I didn't know what to make of it.
I believe you said deranged. It really did seem deranged. Like in that basement.
It was the hoverboard really was just
it just got me. It got me so hard.
I was like, quarantine, get into this boy for
sure. What about you, Sarah?
I think I said earlier that I was surprised by Renee, and
that's right.
I don't know. I was kind of Janine. Honestly, I was kind of like, "Ooh, I'm gonna be getting up there as like the person that's played the most." I was like, "I'm gonna beat out Janine," and then she was there, and I was like, "Damn it, we're going tit for tat."
And then, hey, she went out first round. So
I thought we'd get Nico, and I thought we'd get Tristan.
Yeah,
neither one.
Yeah, Tristan was someone I was surprised about. I thought he would play as a hero.
I thought PM might play. Like PM was this hero
with Nico on Instagram.
I wanted Jim to play as a hero too, even though I didn't really see him like on Facebook. But I was like, oh, I hope Jim.
Jim's so nice.
Sorry, Jim. Love you.
Someone asked about my video. I just want to like say this really quick. I was brainstorming for a while once I knew I was a villain about like my last video. I copied a Home Alone scene when he's in the bathroom. So I started like looking up like iconic. What the heck? Rachel. I want Rachel to love me. No. So I started looking up like iconic villains.
Love him.
Yeah.
Follow him.
Love him. Well, probably that. Probably that too. Probably that too. Yeah.
Okay. Love you, Braden.
But I started looking up iconic villains. And I was gonna do like a Mugatu thing for a bit. From like Zoolander, and then like I just like somehow landed on Scar, and I was like started brainstorming lyrics all week, and I just got really way too into it. Yeah, so I like threw it by Audrey that it wasn't copyright if you parody a song, and then yeah, the rest is history.
Entire cast, any advice for someone who's applying to play for their first time? What are some things you should think about when entering their first game?
Make a good video.
Aww.
Thank you, Sarah. I don't have to say it for once. Yes, that's what I always say. Make a good video. Video.
Yeah, TR's video as well.
Do your video like this. After all of you. Okay, all of you. I hate you all.
A lot of people.
I'm so excited to play.
Don't do it in vertical. Don't do it in a freaking portrait mode.
Make sure your Wi-Fi works.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Capitalize on one-on-one interactions. I think those are always so key in games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Don't get too drunk.
You've been looking at wrong stuff on your computer that you get that shit debunked. And that you got Wi-Fi working correctly. That's for sure.
Don't stay in a room by yourself too long.
That's true. Yeah.
Jump from room to room.
Yeah. I found that between my first time playing and this time and the last time playing were very different for me in terms of how I navigated rooms, because the first time I played, I didn't really pay too much attention to which room I was entering in. I kind of was just blindly clicking. And there were plenty of times where I was going into a room and I was thinking to myself, was I just in this room? I don't even remember. I don't even know what room number I was just in. Whereas the last time I played, and this time I made sure to stick to a system of going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh.
And I found that really allowed me to cover the most ground. And I actually found that Braden and I, you and I seem to be alternating, and we kept bumping into 3 a lot. And so when you and I were like working together, we used that as like a spot to
I kept telling people the room I would go to when I left. a room. Like I don't think I've done this before, and it was helpful to just say, let's go spread a name, but like I am going to room 2 or something, just to be sure like people spread out in a way that was helpful. I don't know.
I think one thing, and it's a super fine line, is you can't don't want to be like one of the boring people that gets voted out early, and you can't be like the biggest threat approaching the end game. And it's tricky to navigate, but one of the ways I think you do that is by having like one-on-one relationships that are strategic, but mostly just like personal, so that there's a limited number of people who are like, oh, I haven't talked to that person. But then you're not within the conversation for like biggest strategic threats.
Frankie, to answer your point, you're saying you don't get the move room thing. You think that people should stay in rooms. What happens with that is if people are moving around or people are going to the same couple of rooms, you're potentially missing a lot of people. So, and I get how I've definitely seen. I'm not saying that strategy is not wrong. I've seen it play out. I mean, Dakota, in the last time he played, he made it to final 2, and he stayed in one room for like several rounds. Janine, one of the last times she played, she stayed in one room for several rounds and she made it to the end. So it definitely can't work if you're the right person and you do it the right way. I think it just depends on the person. So if you're someone who feels comfortable that way and you feel like you are socially gifted enough in that way to be magnetic enough to draw people to you, then yes, by all means, play that up. I, for one, feel like I work better if I can cover the most ground, and I wanted to ensure that I was entering into as many kind of like convos as possible so I could have like influence in the conversation as opposed to being the byproduct of one because I didn't get around enough. That's where my head was with that.
I think it also takes a level of like self-awareness of knowing where you stand in the game.
Absolutely.
Because if you're in a comfortable spot, being able to stay in a room for a long time and really build a connection is so valuable. But if you're at the bottom, you have to just make sure your name's not going around and jump around. So like I got to sit a lot more this round than my last game, I don't know. That's how I feel.
Yeah. Rachel, any advice from you for people who might want to play?
I agreed to jump around to rooms. I have never done your strategy of remembering where I go in because I was blindly clicking into rooms last night and I felt very like frantic doing that. So now that I know your strategy, I'll use that if I ever play again. But I think, jumping around, I don't like to say names very early. I always say I heard somebody's name. And if I'm with people in a room, I say, you didn't hear that from me. So I think, but other people play it very differently. I will not say names very early because I think that's a sure way to get out, in my opinion. But, and also just be very mindful of like the LOSs, because now that it's on like with the green dot, refresh your feed, like it can, it can lag. So if you're playing, make sure you're paying attention to those green dots and get that LOS in.
You got to be fast.
Because there were so many times I thought that I was so fast and I never got it. And I was like, I don't know what the hell's going on here. I was like, somebody doing some voodoo shit over here.
Yeah.
People were on their game last night for those, for sure.
Did you get any, Braden? Did you?
Well, everyone, I just make a point of telling people I saw the dot so that they feel like I got them. But I only got one of them at 8, and then I played that one at 6.
You did.
I honestly thought you were going to have so many.
Right?
Yeah, I lie about them a lot. I just, if people just think I have like a wealth of them, then I think they just try to wait to get me out at 5 or something.
Mm-hmm. I think it was said in rounds, like, oh, I think Braden's going to play an LOS. We shouldn't go for him. So it worked.
You offered to a room to play it for all of them at final 6.
Oh, yeah.
I did. We'll play LOS for everyone.
I was like, listen, Albie, Dylan, don't worry about it. We'll get to 6. We'll advantage them out, which is just a lie. I don't know.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and go solo on the screen for a second, but please don't leave just yet. I just want to go over a couple things. There is, believe it or not, there's still another mini coming up in this supersized weekend. We are 2/3 of the way done. We have another one coming up tonight. It is a special spooky mini. So who knows what kind of messy costume characters we're going to see fighting and dragging it out tonight. But you can catch that at sequesteraccess.com. Go to the live feed tab, and you go to the live feed tab, and there's some videos here on how to play. There's the leaderboard down here with some of our winners, the actual game itself down there. But that is not all. Be sure to please become a member on the Sequester Patreon. The whole reason we even did this All-Stars mini was to celebrate hitting 500 patrons. And if that wasn't crazy enough, I'm pretty sure we hit 600 this weekend on the weekend that we were celebrating 500. So how crazy is that? It's as little as, I'm blocking it. It's as little as $3 a month right over there. I don't adjust here. And then 5 or 10 if you're feeling a little bit more generous. I think you can also pledge your own donations. So be sure to show your support. Show Audrey your support because she does a lot for this community. It's a great game. You can get yourself on a mini, get yourself on this podcast, and we can talk about your gameplay. But that's not all. Also, if you watch this far, please be sure to hit the like button down below if you liked what you saw. Be sure to subscribe. I mean, if you see by this comment here, his subscriber numbers on YouTube is everything. Even though this podcast has only been up for 2 weeks, it's embarrassing how many subscribers I have apparently. So help me to avoid Corey Brunson's scorn and subscribe. All right, guys, where can people find you if they want to follow you and keep in touch with you after this is done? Sarah, do you want to start?
Oh, I have a unique name. You can probably just search it and find me.
Perfect. Okay, Keeley.
I'm on Instagram and Twitter at Keeley Copeland.
Braden.
I'm Braden with a B on Twitter. In the Facebook stuff, I'm Smudmip. If you are ever wondering who that is me. And if you think I was charming enough and evil enough for you to get legal work in Canada, you can also look up my name.
Louis?
Rank and Rate on Twitter.
And Rachel.
Yeah, sorry I screamed. I didn't know I was on. But you can find me on Instagram at Rachel Swindler, and then you can find me on Twitter at Rachie Swin.
And you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Byte at TR Conradi. I'm going to be dropping a couple of links right now in the chat. If this will participate in anything. The first link I'm dropping is to Liquidated's multi-viewer playback. So you can copy and paste that in your browser, which has the most recent minis, including this one archived. It's a fantastic system. It's so useful for watching the minis back. There's toggles, switch the rooms for you. There's toggles for different rounds. It's an incredible tool. So definitely show your support there. And there's also a donation button if you want to show your support to Liquidated. We also have a Sequester Discord. If you want to join that, I just dropped that link. It's growing by the day, I'm pretty sure. So be sure to join that. There's all sorts of Sequester fans, Sequester alumni from both the mini and the live seasons. I think Audrey and Brent are both in there too. So come in there. Talk about the games. There's a recap channel of everything that's going on during a mini. So if you miss it, you can go there and you can get caught up. There's a mini discussion channel if you want to talk about the mini with people other than just in the live chat. There's all sorts of other stuff. They got games and stuff going on. So it's all sorts of fun. I do want to thank a couple people before I go. I have these usernames right here. Kevin at the end, he has been moderating the chat here for the last few minis. So thank you very much, Kevin. Kevin played last weekend. Robbed King, you got to come back and play. So thank you, Kevin. The other usernames here, they really help me out in the Discord. They're the ones who pretty much post in the mini recap channel. They compiled some charts as well. So if you were to go into that mini recap page, you can see a pretty nifty summary of the game, as well as a round-by-round description, and of course the play-by-play from the entire mini, so you can go get caught up there. But that's it. So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, stuck around this entire time. I know it was one of the longer ones. Still has not beat Dash's record of over 3 hours, but maybe one day we'll get to that. And thank you guys so much for joining me. I appreciate you being on here to talk about the game. I know that Sequester has certainly consumed our weekends this weekend, and we have another mini coming up in just a couple of hours. So
yeah, I'm about to go watch that shit.
Yeah. I am too. We're going to be back tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to discuss tonight's mini with some of the players. So be sure to tune into that. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Thanks, Joe.
Sunday fun day.